Whether you're new to gaming or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about having fun and escaping the stresses of everyday life, but also being there to pick up our teammates, especially when they're down.
Guardian down.
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry in Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Downcast. Your stories, your community, and your destiny. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 330 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, ToddtheGatr, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our little podcast, we're a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, but we like to sprinkle in some entertainment, other topics of discussion relating to our hobbies as well from time to time, especially on our roundtable episodes, usually at the end of every month. For those of you listening right now on the podcast platforms out there and want to check out our live shows, go to ToddtheGatr on YouTube and Twitch. That's ToddtheGatr. And there's always playbacks as well if you want to watch them after they've gone live as well. Usually you'll see those within 24 hours of the live stream. We also have our live stage in our Discord community where you can join live and converse with us in the chat as well and see our beautiful faces. So 3 different ways you can tune into us live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, now that we're out of daylight savings. I have my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsleymac, here tonight. Kingsley, how's it going?
Hello. Glad to be here yet once again.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Well, this week we have a special guest with us today. She's been covering Destiny 2 for quite a while now. And as we'll hear his story tonight, he'll share with us how he started his Destiny journey and what made him decide to begin content creation for the game, and maybe even discuss Bungie's future with the Destiny franchise. With nearly 100,000 subs on YouTube, he has had a big impact on the Destiny community, sharing glitches, farming methods, anything that can give us, the player, an advantage on that Destiny grind. So please welcome tonight, Mr. Willhe1m Scream. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. This is a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, man. We've been looking forward to tonight. We have a lot of questions. Hopefully you got a lot of answers. So we'll go from there, I guess. But thank you, man. Appreciate that. Well, before we get to our topics tonight, you just released a video, I believe, Willhe1m, on, I believe, the new calendar and everything. We're going to be talking about that tonight. You are speculating about a darkness subclass. And I have a feeling, I'm with you, brother, I'm with you on this, but I have a feeling Kingsley's going to lay the facts down, and we'll see how that goes later tonight. But yeah, I just saw your video, man. I appreciate the shout out on that. That was
we'll talk about that later. Or
no,
I don't even know what we're talking about.
We'll get into it later. We're just catching up a little bit here. Cool. But
yeah,
but we'll keep
have some fun with it.
Yeah, well, we'll keep the pleasantries down to a minimum tonight. But I did want to know, Kingsley, I noticed you're playing Outer Worlds 2. Did you finish that game yet, or are you still working on it?
Oh, no, there's tons in that game. Yeah.
Really?
I put really? Yes, there's lots of good games out there with many, many hours of enjoyment, to go figure. But yeah, I don't know how many hours I put in it because, again, I tend to have a habit of I don't see a reason to quit the game. I'll just pause it and walk away. So, you can't really know total hours spent because it's counting all the time I'm not playing too.
Well, yeah.
But if I had to guess, I'm a little over halfway done at this point.
Wow.
And I certainly have like somewhere between 20 to 40 hours at least.
You think it's
actual play time?
You think it's a 100-hour game? Do you think maybe?
Well, maybe. And the thing about it is it definitely could be anyways, because of the RPG elements, it is definitely a game that you can and would want to play through, again, because you get different scenarios each time and different companions you can use too. Like, there's so many companions now at this point. I'm having a hard time picking who I want to bring with me for certain activities and stuff. So definitely could be a 100-hour game.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I've been doing the seasonal grind. That's my usual thing every week. I love getting those seasonal rewards. I like I said in past shows, that's where Bungie nailed it for the grinder, the daily bounty hoarder like I am. I love jumping in, doing the daily seasonal stuff, and then completing the weekly stuff, which isn't too difficult. It only takes probably a couple solo portals a day, and usually within the third day you're done with it. But no movies this week. Every week my wife has had some kind of school function, or she had a shower tonight she had to go to. So it's been something every night. But we are going to see tomorrow, Friday, we're going to see Running Man in the IMAX. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think we're seeing another movie on Tuesday, but I'll let you guys know next week how all that stuff turned out. Hello, Mr. Miklo. How you doing? But I'm curious, Willhe1m, what have you been doing this week in Destiny, man? Do you have a set things that you like to do, or what you been up to?
Well, most of my first day was spent trying to figure out a way to get into the top 1% of the salt mines, but that didn't go. I got top 10, and then so I was all right with that. And then figuring out the new hub for Call to Arms was sort of a task unto itself. It was a quest unto itself, just making sure you know exactly how it works, especially if you're going to explain it, because they do get complicated, and it is a lot of menus that you're sort of going through after a time. But doing those things, and I've actually really been enjoying Call to Arms overall.
Okay.
What the ins and outs of it.
I got you.
Just been doing that.
Yeah, a part of me wants to get into it as far as the Call to Arms, because first of all, Bungie doesn't really explain it too well. So when it appears, we're like, okay, visit the old guy from the Cosmodrome or the EDZ, Devram K. We got to visit him at the tower, which I've never seen him there before.
He's never been there before, I don't think.
You go there, you get a chest. I'm like, okay, interact, definitely. There, I get some gear. I'm like, all right, awesome. I look over to this other gold chest. It says, oh, no, you don't get that till the end of the... I'm like, oh, okay, so there's something I need to learn here. Okay. So I talked to Devram. He says, all right, go ahead and, jump into an activity, I guess, there's only certain activities you can play in the portal to jump in that stuff. And then, oh yeah, obviously Sinister. I see you there, man. Get your green tier 6 weapons daily. Yeah, I've heard about that glitch. The tier 6 weapons. You can't, God almighty, man. I tell you. Yeah, I mean, okay, quality control's a little slipping maybe, but yeah, I hear you, Kenneth. All right. But I'm curious what you thought about this, Kingsley, because I thought this was like a catch-up event. But
I was going to talk about some other, since we're talking about what we're doing in Destiny. If you want to keep on this topic, I want to talk about some raid things I did this week, and not just the one with you.
Oh, yeah. Go for it, man. Go for it.
So we don't need to cut this off. I just thought you were, done talking about this topic. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm curious, Willhe1m, though, what's your power level? Because you said you got 10.
I think I'm at 536.
Right on. Yeah.
On my Warlock, which is what I usually play on.
Yeah, and that top 10 thing was before or after the change they made to make it.
That was before. It was before. I got a little higher once they changed it, but yeah, that was before. I got top 10 in Crucible too before they changed it, but that took a bit. That was even more difficult. I had to really find a weapon. The new weapons I don't really find or at least I can't think of a go-to for PvP other than the shotgun hand cannons. Those are great in PvP, but everything else I always end up reverting back to something I used years ago for a primary, just long range weapon.
That goes the whole conversation of what people prefer versus what's actual meta. If I actually ever was more into PvP, I would be chasing meta, because I find that more interesting, chasing and using meta, than trying to be like a crudgeon in the sand. I want to use this weapon, but yeah, I just wanted to. And if you guys have more to say about this, great. I did a lot of fun things in Destiny this week with raids. Shout out to a Wednesday night raid. Kilvin was in that crew and other people, and we did a Vow of the Disciple. Nice still run in my mind. I know some people are still not as familiar with that raid, but so it was still learning to really optimize things for a few people. But I always love that raid. It's one of my top 3 or 4 list of raids. And then of course, our weekly that we've been doing so far, our Desert Perpetual. And wouldn't you say, Todd, we did our fastest run yet?
Yeah, we did pretty good. I think it was sub 2 hours, which is for us, that's really good because we're pretty much.
And we weren't even trying to go fast.
Really good.
No, we still took a couple breaks and stuff. Yeah.
We gathered a fire team of members we could count on to show up every Saturday night, and we learned it from scratch, blind. And we just every week, every couple weeks, but now we switched back to every week. We just try to hone it and get better and better. And I think we're going to start taking on some more of the challenges soon, and maybe before Renegades we might try the epic version. I don't know yet, but we'll
try it when we're ready. I don't know why it has to be before Renegades.
Doesn't have to be, but I don't know. Yeah. Kenneth,
it's not going anywhere. In fact, it's going to be even better after Renegades because of some things they announced today. It's going to be a little more featured even.
Yeah, I heard that.
Because of reasons, but
we'll definitely get into that when we get over that. We go over the information that Bungie's thrown our way this week, but yeah, I was just confused at first. The 1%, the 10% score, because I jumped in there. I said, "Oh, this is going to be a piece of cake." I was like, I did it on all 3 of my accounts, and I jumped in and of course, I did the solo op version. I think I got like 1.6 million or something, which was, I was playing Grandmaster version. I wasn't playing the Ultimate version yet. I didn't even realize this, but I'm 483. I can unlock it now probably, and then I looked at my score. I had 5 points. I'm like, what? 5 points? I was in the top 30% or something. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, loser.
What the hell, man? I threw a lot of stuff in there. I mean, I got an A+ on it, but the thing I don't like about this new Call to Arms is the fact that you have to be at 500 power, which it was 550 to max your score out, but Bungie relaxed that to just 500 and up, which I know that gives people motivation to get to 500, but there's no way that most of the players out there are going to get to 500 before this activity's over. So, and in a way, I kind of like that because it gives players like our buddy Tajo, who's 550 forever now, it gives him a little reward for grinding, and getting in the 500s. But there's a lot of people that are still in their 300s and 400s, and they're never going to get that score. Not by the time this Call to Arms is over with. But anyway, I just wanted to vent on that a little bit because, okay, they can still get powerful loot every day when they log in and go up to Devrim. They can get their powerful loot. That's good. I mean, at minimum, I guess it helps them, build up their power, but I don't know. I just thought that was odd that they were trying to bring more players back that haven't played in a while to jump into Call to Arms to get ready for Renegades, right? Because you can get these loot packs that you can open up and possibly get weapons or armor before Renegades come out for Renegades, which I thought that was really cool. But I don't know. I just was curious what your take was on it because, yeah. So.
Well, my take is, who said they were trying to get players back with this specific event? Every once in a while, it's okay to have an event that's for the top tier people, as long as it's not a majority. Yeah. Oh, come on. Top tier people never get to have an event? Never, ever, ever?
I mean, I'm glad that they have something for the higher level players, right, Willem? I mean, at least that is there.
As long as most of the events, and I do agree, most should be for the general pop. And so far they have been. So now they didn't communicate it well enough. So people's expectations were kind of a little out of whack. If they really would have said this event is more for, and they kind of did, but people weren't really reading the tea leaves, right? But if they were really like, this event really is for like the super competitive, and people actually understood that, then that probably would have been a little bit better in the communication.
I remember watching Willem's first videos. I know, Willem, you want to talk. Sorry, man. I'm referring back to his first video he made about it, and he says, "Don't even go in Crucible. They're full of cheaters." I'm like, and then I saw Lucky 10P's video about he was going over this one guy who exposed the whole cheating community in Destiny. I'm like,
oh, there's tons of that.
What the hell, man? All this
unfortunate
code that they're inserting into the game and stuff. But yeah, go ahead, Willem. I was curious what you thought about all the.
Well, just quickly in regard to the cheaters, Sinister and I, who's in your chat,
I see him,
actually went into the tower the other day, and the Traveler was back, but it wasn't a Traveler. It was just a giant ghost that somebody was projecting up into the sky, and somebody was, ping-ponging around the tower. It was pretty interesting to take a look at. But Yeah, I think the biggest problem with this event, because it did some good things and it did some things poorly, was just the lack of communication. And I think also the first come, first serve sort of power enabled aspect of it would have been fine had it just been explained beforehand. But I also don't think, I think the power side of it is okay because it does reward, people who have been really continuing to play the game a bit more, at least in the very short term. But I don't think that the first come, first serve aspect of it would have been the best. I think there should have been some sort of barrier to entry score, call it 1800 or just whatever you get on the final difficulty at base or whatever they decide, whatever they automatically set up for you, have that be the base score. And if you can get that, you get a percentage number of points, because the biggest confusion also was that people thought that the points would get reduced as their percentage overall got reduced. So if you got into the top 10%, you got 50 points, but then if you dropped to the top 30%, you were going to lose those points. They didn't realize that it was really just about once you got into earning, once you got in, you kept what you had, even if you dropped. It was just about that sort of single run blitz. But yeah, so the power, I think, would have been fine because ultimately you're going to get so many rewards from this event anyway. You will power to 500, which is where I think it should have been. There shouldn't have been that much of an advantage from 500 to 550. It should have been fairly even after that point. But at least to most people, I think if you're going into this event at, say, 350, you can definitely hit 500 by the end of it just by, I think, playing pretty casually, especially when you unlock the other activities past salt mines and just the crucible. But even if you're just playing the crucible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just the communication would have been better on that end. They should have gotten rid of the first come, first serve aspect of it, at least for the first week or so. But I love the point scoring thing. That's a scoreboard is something that I think
always needed,
has been wanted. Yeah, for a very long time. And I think having something like that constantly, not just for an event, but for past raids, you could have time or all that stuff would be great to have somewhere in like a portal. And, to speak more broadly, I think that's more what a portal should have been more focused for, is those kind of things versus sometimes I feel like with the current portal plus what we have in an event, which is essentially working the same way, it gets hard to navigate, and people end up, I know, going into activities that they didn't want to go into, or they don't know where to select it or where to see their score or where to see how many points they have, just based on, what people ask me. They're usually, where do I see these points? I'm like, you have to go to this menu in the subscreen of the other menu, go down 3, it's right there, that kind of stuff I think could just be cleaned up. But otherwise, I actually do like the event.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you have less team to work with. You can't smooth out the edges of some of these. I noticed most of the events are a little rough around the edges as far as, easily grasping what they're about. There's usually something, just like finding something in Eververse that they mention. You have to dig through all the pages to find what they were talking about. But before we get into your story, Willhe1m, what is up with this crate? I know what the crate is. I used to have one.
Oh.
But what everyone, Sinister and Kenneth, keep mentioning something about the crate. Well, the crate auto rifle. This is the
crate auto rifle, the old school vanilla, not enhanceable auto rifle,
right,
is like the super meta weapon that I always try to encourage people to pick up if it's available, because you can buy one from Banshee 44 when it's part of the featured loot. But essentially, it's an auto rifle. It's a 720 auto rifle. Really old, can't be updated. But sometimes these updated weapons, non-updated weapons, ones from years ago before even we had enhanced or craftable weapons, certain perks, because perks go through alterations, work differently for them. They just they bug out a little bit, and you get something that you weren't supposed to get. So in the case of the crate, if you can get one with Adagio on it, which is a really good perk for PvP.
Yes. Okay.
And if you can get a range masterwork, that's even better. But if you can get an Adagio, because of the way Adagio works and the origin trait on the weapon, which is Vice Stinger, which only has this one weird trait for bows, which is it increases draw time. Right. Now, this is the best I can figure it. Mm-hmm. Something about that perk on that weapon is weird when paired with Adagio. And I've looked it up. There's only a couple of weapons that can get Adagio and Vice Stinger that are an auto rifle or an automatic weapon. But for some reason, they cancel each other out. But you still get the damage perk from Adagio. So when you damage somebody, you get a roughly 30% damage buff. Right. And the rounds per minute don't drop at all. So it's like it drops slightly, but it's not noticeable. It goes to like a 710 auto rifle with a 30% damage buff. It's crazy how good that weapon is. Yeah, I mean, it's weird, but
how do you find out? How do you find out about these tips? Is it trial and error? Do you have people in the community that tip you to it?
It's usually Reddit, if I have to be honest. Yeah, somebody says something about it on Reddit, and you go and you try it out, and you inevitably
I visited Reddit once.
No, you wrote once. That was the problem.
Oh my God, I posted something in Reddit. You know what I posted in Reddit? I said, hey, don't you guys like going and doing patrols and farming glimmer and getting all these? And man, I got chased out of there. I was like, okay. I don't think I was in the low salt one. I was in the regular one. And I was like, ouch, I'm out. I'm up. Forget it.
And then sometimes you come across something by accident. Sometimes one of your teammates or people you play with will figure something out. And but I did the math. It actually, that crate is essentially the same as Kvastov once Adagio is activated.
Really?
It's like I think Kvastov does like 21 points of damage for every hit, and once Adagio is active, crate does 23.
Nice.
So it's even a little bit better. It's kind of one of those weird weapons where once when you're shooting somebody and all of a sudden all their health sort of disappears at once. You've ever had that kind of image glitch happen?
Right.
It's one of those.
What about the firefight? I know I have one with Adagio, and I kept it because it usually owned in Crucible, but I guess it doesn't have quite the. And it's only
Adagio is good on everything. I mean, it's a really good. There's the thing that got me up to the top 10% for the Crucible this week was I was using that scout rifle whose name escapes me, but it's the one you get from Kepler. You can focus it, and that with Adagio. Once Adagio is active, it's like a 2-shot.
Gotcha.
It's an incredible TTK.
I know. People were killing me like crazy with it. And I was like, okay, I'm not getting rid of this rifle. It stays in. I don't care if it's at level 10 right now. I don't care. But I was just curious because I know that auto rifle, the Firefight, I think even Astrocross still uses it from time to time in his streams. But that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
I know it's good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what, let's jump in and go ahead and get to know more about you here, Willhe1m. And we'll go from there and see where we head from there. And we'll definitely be doing the patented speedrun tonight. So I can't wait to do that as well. All right, we'll do that when we return.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels ToddtheGatr and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out.
Willhe1m Screams, I've been watching your videos for I want to say at least the last 3 or 4 years. And
wow.
I got to admit, man, you have been slowly just growing and growing and growing and gaining momentum. Every week you have these great videos about any kind of glitch or farms. Thank you for the legendary shard farm. Back in the day, I was there with everybody else. I was at the Cryptarch with everyone else hovering around them. But yeah, thanks for that. Because I really enjoy your videos because your speaking style is very relaxed, and I don't know what it is, but you're just very relaxed when you talk, and I've just always digged your videos, man. And then when I saw you join in our stream a few times, I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. So, well, let me start with this. Where are you from?
Appreciate it. I'm from New York.
New York, okay.
Upstate New York.
Upstate, yeah. Gotcha. So you're a Buffalo fan. I'm good. I take it.
Not that far. That's actually like west, more like 2 hours north of New York City, kind of upstate.
Oh no, you're a Giants fan?
If you're in Buffalo, they wouldn't say that's upstate.
Okay.
I'm not a huge football follower.
Okay, gotcha.
But big hockey and other stuff.
Oh, everyone loves Dart.
Oh, man.
Until he gets popped in the head. But yeah. Well, I mean, do you do your content creation full time, or do you have a job that you do on the side?
I was an editor. I still am an editor. So
very cool.
That was always been the thing, and this has always kind of been a hobby that turned into, a bit of work, but always kind of just a hobby.
That's awesome, man.
Tell me about your setup, if you don't mind. And do you work for a company or a freelance, or what do you do with editing?
Freelance. I honestly have taken a little bit of a step, almost a sabbatical from it to a certain extent, always interested to, or available for any sort of advice if anybody needs it in terms of that. But yeah, I did all different types of stuff, video editing and edited for print, that kind of stuff.
I love it. I work with a lot of creatives. I'm an IT consultant, but
okay.
A lot of my customers are creatives, so my ear perks up when I hear that. So
yeah, and a lot of that stuff has only become easier as time's gone on. So you end up doing less of it hands-on and more of it helping other people just kind of navigate through software and stuff like that. But or at this point, prompts sometimes help. But
I was just gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you because I do editing as well, and I was just curious. I do audio and video, and I was just curious if you have been taking advantage of some of the AI programs out there now. You said, "quote." You said,
to a certain extent, only so much that I know understanding it is better than not, or for lack of a better term. So I try to keep up to date with all that stuff, and sort of form some interesting prompts that maybe people don't necessarily think of, and just test the limits of it. I will say, though, that I find it hard to really embed authenticity into it in the way that I would like. So in that regard, it's only so much as maybe a sculpting tool to me at this point, though I'm sure there's a lot more that you can do with that kind of stuff than I'm willing to, I would say.
Gotcha. Yeah, I use Auphonic for my audio stuff because it just one click, man, it cleans everything up nicely. So,
well, that stuff is good. Things are amazing. Yeah.
I love it. I did a filler filter on it last week, and I listened to the podcast over again. I'm like, I'm never turning that off because we say a lot of ums and ahs in our live shows, and I'm, ums and ahs is natural. I want to keep it natural, but man, we tend to say it a lot.
But you don't.
I try, man. It's just an involuntary habit, especially when my brain's in thinking.
There's nothing wrong with this, all I'm saying.
I know. It keeps it natural, but when you hear and also it just gets annoying. So that's why I started doing the filler on that. But I never knew you were an editor, man. That's cool. I love hearing that.
Oh.
You want to say something? Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say,
okay. What was your earliest video game that you played?
Oh, Well, I was fortunate enough to have a dad who was kind of a tech nerd.
Nice.
So we had an Amiga, I remember, computer
Oh my God.
before, like it was when DOS was around,
Oh
and
my God.
the Mac was still
The 5 1/4s, or was it? Yeah, 5
yeah,
1/4s.
pretty. It was an incredible interface, an incredible graphics interface in the Amiga. Like when I first used like a Mac or PCs later on, I always remember thinking like, isn't this the same thing as that other computer? I mean, you had to load them with hard disks, but it was a great machine. It had some really great games. So I think like the very first game I remember playing was like, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Or Wolfenstein. I remember playing Wolfenstein really early, like as soon as it came out.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember if that was on the Amiga or just an early PC.
It was Was it 8-bit or 16? I think it was 8-bit, wasn't it? No, it might have been 16.
PC, there never was an 8-bit.
It's always 16 and higher? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean,
I started on Atari, so it was 8-bit for me.
Good question. I think it was on PC. I don't think it was on Amiga, but
okay.
Yeah, I think it was only on PC, because we did have another PC fairly early on too. But yeah, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? Like Breakthrough was like a game that I love, which was basically just the balls bouncing back and forth on the screen. As I say that, I like. But with the big paddle, that was fun.
Simpler times.
Yeah,
that's for sure, man.
They were.
Yeah. Oh, how did you come across Destiny? I know, are you a day one player, or did you find out about it later?
Yeah, I played in actually the pre-alpha.
Nice.
And I came to know of it because I was a huge Halo fan. Like Halo's kind of probably been one of my favorite games overall still. So, anything that Bungie was going to be doing, I was interested in. And, FPS has always been my game of choice. So, it was a big FPS game coming out. It was Bungie, I'd always wanted to see them do more with Halo than I thought they were going to be able to do. So I was, looking forward to it, like even a year out. As soon as I'd heard about it, I was very interested in playing it.
That's awesome. Well, is there a memory that kind of brings a smile to your face from early days of Destiny, or even something in Destiny 2, I guess could count too?
Well, there's a couple of funny, where there was a very funny video that I should maybe make. I don't think it's live on my channel anymore, but it was one of the first ones I made, because it was just kind of a short one. It was maybe a minute long, but of me getting the Vex Mytho class for the first time. And it was on my second run, which was pretty ridiculous. And then I remember also when Crota's End originally launched, I remember the first time I'd heard about you could get exotics from that first chest just in the thrall room. We were like, oh yeah, let's go in there and just see what we get. We jumped in, went in, and I got the Dragon's Breath like immediately. It was like, yeah, and the Dragon's Breath had just been released at the time.
My God.
And I was like, I mean, I was pretty flabbergasted, So those things in D1 were some of the fun ones. I also, if you know the YouTuber streamer Ninja, I was in his raid group.
Okay.
Which is also one of the reasons why I started making content at the time. But I don't know which place we got, but we were day 1 Vault of Glass completion, or day 2. We were very early, very early.
Wow.
It was fun playing with him, back then. And yeah. And in D2, doing Vault of Glass again was pretty fun the first day. I remember when they made Scourge of the Past, which is a raid that I love. I always wish they'd bring back Scourge of the Past, even though it was short. I always thought it was a really fun raid. I remember when they made the raids farmable finally, and you could just do the final encounter over and over again. For the exotic, our whole raid group got the Anarchy in like one night. That was super fun. Doing Garden of Salvation was a lot of fun the first few times. doing a lot of stuff with, my buddy Sinister, just the two of us. We two-manned Deepstone Crypt one time. That was pretty ridiculous.
That's cool.
I watched that stream back. He was streaming it, that I don't even know what we're doing. Like I'm listening to us talk and communicate and do different things. And I'm like, I don't even know how we're keeping any of this straight. Like now looking at it, you totally lose track of all the things you'd figured out at the time. But that was, I think, during the peak of the pandemic too. So we were just sitting home all day looking at screens. Those were fun though.
Can't remember two-manning Crota, Destiny 1 Crota.
That was great.
I had a Galahorn and my buddy had the sword, and we got it done. We got it done. Good times, man. I really miss the early. I keep missing Regicide. I love Regicide. That's my favorite Destiny campaign story of all time, is Regicide, when you finally face orcs. Orcs at the very end there, and God, that was a great one. The fire shooting through the door and the doors separating and all that light, and oh man, do you see? This is why Bungie needs to bring back everything. Destiny Online. I think Astrocross is titled it Classic Bungie or Classic Destiny, which I'd be good with that. We would definitely play it, man. But anyway, sorry, I'll go off on Kingsley. You have to keep me on track, man. You have to keep me on track. By the way, I did get the Anarchy on my first try, and this guy right here was bringing me through it. He Sherpa'd me through that, and I remember I got the Anarchy on the very first try. But it took me 32 times in Destiny 1 to get the Vex.
It is fun to see these stories, and it really is true about the odds, because I've completed over 1,000 raids, and I really have seen enough people get things on first, second, third runs that still kind of matches up with that 5%. So I always love seeing that. I've a couple raids myself by run 2 or 3, but most of the time I'm right where the percentages would show.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, what character in the game, what NPC in the game do you like the best in Destiny?
Ooh, that's a tough choice. D1 or D2?
At your choice.
I mean, I think Xur is my favorite vendor.
Thank you for not,
I really like.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you for not saying the Crucible. I mean the Gambit. My mind's made tonight.
The Drifter.
Drifter. Everybody says Drifter. I'm like, I know he's a cool dude, but come on, man. He's not the only guy in the game. Yeah.
He's all right. He's all right. I liked the Speaker in D1 too, because I always thought that was a character that I like any of the characters that have mystery, and Xur and the Speaker in D1 had the most mystery. Xur probably still has a bit of mystery left, but I always thought that the Speaker was going to be like an evildoer later on, that we were going to find out and really be the cause of all our problems. I think there was even like a storyline originally written that was kind of the case, but yeah, it was always unfortunate that the Speaker just disappeared in the beginning of D2. I always hoped he would come back somewhere, but yeah, in any case, I think those are my favorite.
All right, week 1, Xur shows up in Destiny. Did you get the Galahorn or did you get something else?
I did get the Galahorn.
Did you? I bought the Suros. I said, I want an auto rifle. I don't want a stupid launcher. I want the Suros. I know.
I don't know how. I've gotten very lucky with those kind of things. Jeez. And here's the reason I bought it. I couldn't, because it was the first week or the second week. I can't remember, but I had just enough like strange coins to buy one exotic. And I remember looking at that one and going, that one looks like the one from the live action trailer. Remember the original D1 live action trailer that was amazing?
Oh, yeah.
And I watched it so many times. I'm like, yeah, that looks like that one. I'm going to buy this because it looks like it. I just like the look. And what was funny was I didn't even use it for a while. And then we were because I tried it. I didn't upgrade it, and I tried it out and it didn't do that much. And I liked other things. And I remember we were in the Vault of Glass raid first time. I'm with, would-be Ninja and our rest of our group, and we're trying to figure out how to do damage to the boss. And someone says, if we had the Galahorn, that would be amazing. And one guy goes, I have a Galahorn, and I go, I have a Galahorn, and they're like, you have a Galahorn? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, it's not that good. They're like, what are you talking about?
Oh, well, fast.
And after like reaming me out for 5 minutes for not using it, they made me upgrade it right then and use it.
That's awesome.
It was pretty funny.
Is this the ninja with no L, by the way?
This is the Fortnite ninja.
Oh, Ninja. Wow. Okay. Wow. I didn't know he played early Destiny. Ah, that's awesome.
He did.
I mean, dude, I didn't follow the guy until he started playing Fortnite. But man, that's crazy, man.
Most of yeah, I think he was pretty well known in that space at that time. I met him through Halo, which he was a big streamer of, but those weren't the most popular things at the moment. And then, yeah, I think most people probably heard about him more when Fortnite came around.
I got you, man. I got you. Important question here. Do you do bounties?
The ones that are available, yes.
I mean, I used to do all the bounties. I would load them up every day. Yeah. Every day I'd load up all of them. Yeah. So you're a bounty hunter. Good.
Yes, when it was available to hoard, I certainly did my fair bit of bounty hoarding. There was a couple of notable seasons too. Like I remember during, I think going into Lightfall, I was maxed out
Me too.
Every seasonal update for like that whole year. It's sad that there's not more that you can hoard now other than, I mean, there's Banshee and then there's in the, what's her name out? Not Marasov, but the other one.
Yeah.
Petra.
I don't want to go hunt her down for some lame bounties out there. I'm not going all the way to Rizavilia to find her. Screw that. No, I mean, God, man, I mean, I guess we got orders coming now. It's not going to be bounties anymore. It's going to be orders. I guess it'll be what they're talking about in Renegades. But yeah, man, a lot of this stuff's disappearing. It's kind of sad time. Now, when you play Destiny, are you mainly a solo player or do you prefer to play with a fire team?
I prefer to play with a group. Even if I'm doing something solo, I, prefer to play with other friends or online or at least talking with others. But definitely prefer to play with a group. Some of the guys who are in the YouTube chat right now are the guys who I play with the most often.
Nice.
And we try to raid pretty often, especially if there's a new raid out. We haven't gotten through the Desert Perpetual Expert. Is it Expert that they call it now? Whatever the
Epic the Epic is the
Epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't gotten through that yet entirely, but we've done the original version plenty of times and all the other raids.
I got you. Nice. Yep. Well, yeah, I used to have a weekly raid group. We'd run through all 3 of our characters I mean, my favorite raid is the Orcs raid. So we used to jump in right at reset at Tuesday, and we do all 3 of our characters before 10 o'clock even hit. Well, whenever, what I'm talking about with reset, it'd be like right after lunch, we'd be done. But another question here, now I saw you playing with your buddy build on a Warlock, but are you a Titan Hunter or Warlock main?
Warlock main.
Perfect.
At least in D2. In D1, I was a Hunter main for sure.
Man, and Warlocks are just so fun to play with right now. Please, Bungie, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Yeah, they're very, very powerful in the right kind of way, it seems like.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's probably one of the best things they could have done was make all your buddies tied to that grenade trait. So I'm loving they did that. It's so much easier to get stuff to recharge. What activities do you prefer to do in the game and why?
Well, I mean, like right now, during the event, I did the salt mines a number of times. I played Crucible a lot. I'll usually like to jump in the Crucible if I'm just that. I'll probably jump in the Crucible the most if I'm playing entirely by myself. So if there's no one I'm really talking to, maybe I'm watching a show or something, I'll usually play some Crucible while I do that. If I'm playing with friends, usually like I think the things that we like to do the most are usually the dungeons or just the Pinnacle Ops playlist kind of stuff.
Okay.
So now going for those top 10%, and we haven't done Heliosat yet. That's the next one we're going to do. But we did Proving Grounds. Was that yeah, we did Proving Grounds.
Okay.
And we're able to get in the top 10% for that. But
nice.
That kind of stuff.
I mean, Yeah, I guess that question's outdated now because it's been so narrowed down what you do in Destiny every day now. It's pretty much Portal, you know?
Right.
What, besides Crate, what one weapon in your vault will you refuse to delete and why?
I hate to show you my vault. It's a real mess.
I just did a cleaning. I'm only at 500 now. I did a vault cleaning.
You know, there's I still have my original Kvostov.
Your broken lens
from
one?
when they the broken lens one. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
So I don't think I'll get rid of that. And the thing is, I think you can buy it from your collections, but the one that's in there is the original one when they brought that back into the game.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, that's where it all started, right? First gun.
Yeah. Actually, I think I also have the original sidearm from the Red War that they give you really early on. The broken sidearm, or I can't remember if it was a broken sidearm, broken hand cannon. I have to look, but I also have that in my my vault.
It was the sidearm in the early days of Destiny 2 when you lost everything.
Yep.
Yeah. Switching gears here, what made you decide to create content for Destiny 2, man? When did the flip? When did you flip the switch? Decide to go ahead and start doing it?
Well, a lot of the editing I was ending up doing, it was kind of one of those fortunate events where your hobby and your work ended up sort of joining up. Where, I was playing a lot of competitive Halo. I ended up playing with a lot of the guys who were at the time playing in those tournaments. And that was in college through till when I was in my, early mid-20s. And some of them you end up, getting to know a little bit better. And a few of them were starting to stream early on in like Justin TV days. And, I used YouTube as like just a thing that I use for content. I would kind of back some stuff up for editing on YouTube occasionally, and I would post, some reels there. But increasingly, clients were asking me to make stuff just for YouTube, and the streamers were asking stuff for YouTube. So that ended up being kind of the pathway into it. And then eventually, I just thought, I liked this game. I was playing with some people who were doing that kind of thing. I'll just do it myself a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah, because see, I'm always curious what people's methods are for creating content. I mean, I notice you wander in the game while you're talking in your videos. Is it just off the cuff, or do you prepare a script? I mean, I'm always curious as a fellow content creator. How do you record your videos in one take, or do you have to stop and restart, or how's your system work?
No, usually they're one take. Wow. Sometimes there'll be a couple of stop starts where, you go, hi, it's me. And then you forget what you were going to even say. And you go, okay. And then you start again. But the thing that's posted is all done in one take.
That's awesome.
And a lot of that came from, I used to do some editing, and sometimes I'll have some clips sort of layered in like an OBS just because it's easy to use and really, really quick for live editing. Mm-hmm. And I'll just have them sort of layered in as I talk. But kind of one of the things that one of the promises I made to myself was that I was going to have fun doing content. And I just found that editing sort of prolonged the process. And I really hated having to listen to myself over and over again. Trying to remember, little segments. So I just found that I like recording stuff in one take, sort of like a short podcast, almost in a way. Right. And, if you were bringing the news, if you were a weatherman,
Sure.
So I've always just thought of myself as a weatherman of Destiny.
Yeah, you mentioned it in chat last week. I thought that I got a kick out of that. Yeah, I'm just the Destiny weatherman. I got you, man.
That's it. Yeah.
What made you decide to go faceless? I mean, I guess today I went faceless for the longest time, and finally when we started doing the podcast live, I just said, hell with it, I'm going to flip the camera on. But just like the anonymity, or Was there a reason why?
It's a little easier. I think at first it was a little easier because, if I did try streaming a little bit for a time, and there was a point where I was using a camera.
Okay.
But I just found that like I was never able to just game and stream. I always was having to do other things. So, versus people, looking at an empty room, it was a little bit easier to just stream and not have a face cam up. But then I kind of sort of ended up liking more content at the time when I started doing this more. There was sort of just faceless information, sort of more story form content that doesn't necessarily have somebody talking directly to you, though I don't mind that stuff. And I certainly enjoy podcasts. But that was kind of the initial reason. And it was just a little bit easier overall. But then as time went on, some of it, a little bit weary of having so many hours of my face plastered all over the internet. And, I think as more people watched, it kind of had a second function that I was able to remain a little bit anonymous. And I sort of do enjoy that to a certain extent. But, only so much as, I didn't want to have to, maybe meet somebody who knows me in person and them just coming up to you. Because I find that it is different if people, know who you are before you know that they know who you are, versus them saying, "Oh yeah, I've watched you," and you go, "Oh yeah, that's me," and they go, "Oh," and it's a little bit easier of an interaction. There's not, you could be a little bit more like, "Yeah, I just play video games on the internet," like I'm nobody that you should feel uncomfortable approaching, that kind of thing.
I hear you, man.
So there's a little bit of that too.
Yeah, I mean, I did faceless for a long time, and it definitely is easier when you just do voiceovers. It's much easier. I would usually play B-roll. I would record B-roll, and then I'd have a script, and I would talk over the B-roll, and pop up stuff, when it was appropriate for visual effects. But yeah, that's awesome, man. I can't believe you do that in one take, though. That's amazing, because you can see. I mean, I'm sitting there talking live right now, and my mind tends to wander, especially if I'm looking in chat. So that's why Kingsley's here. He keeps me on track. But just a few signature questions we have for every guest here. Do you have any other hobbies other than gaming?
Well, I was pretty into tennis for most of my life. Okay. I started playing tennis when I was 4, and I played competitively till I was about 18. And then, at that age, you sort of either go pro or you're not good enough. And I was not good enough. So that was, but I'm still, certainly still interested in it. I don't play that often, but, when I can, and I follow it a lot. I fairly into fitness, I guess. I exercise every day, calisthenic kind of stuff, and somewhat into that. And yeah, I mean, not, gaming, try to stay up to date with just general news and things like that. But beyond, real other major hobbies, no.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're a full-time content creator, that is already busy enough. Believe me, it takes so much time. I get it. I totally get it. And then you got to have, I'm sure you've noticed this as well, as when you're a content creator and you start jumping into stuff like this, your playtime goes down because you're busy making stuff and you can't get the long hours that you used to. Yeah. That's the biggest downside to content creation, is you can't play the game you like to play as much. So we all know what a Willhe1m Scream is. If there's any Star Wars fans in here, we know that scream that we hear every time someone gets thrown into a hole or gets thrown across the room. But dude,
or blown up.
Yeah, or blown up. But dude, what's up with the gamer tag? What made you go with Willhe1m Scream of all names?
Well, because I was a video editor, and it was, just sort of the inside joke.
It's an inside joke. That makes sense now.
So I just thought it was, it's funny is when I remember thinking it, thinking, oh yeah, that's a good name, because I was trying to think of like, what would be an interesting gamer tag to go by. And I assumed everybody would know what it is. And I remember when I first made it up, I'm like, I'm surprised it's not taken. And then the amount of people who I've had to explain to them what it actually is, I'm glad that you guys know. I love it when somebody knows. When somebody knows, it makes my day.
I'm old school. I'm old school Star Wars. And I know Star Wars didn't start with Star Wars. I get it. I think it was...
But it was made famous by Star Wars. It's very Star Wars.
It was like 1950s. I had to look it up. I said, well, okay, how far back does the Willhe1m Scream go? And it goes back to like 1956 or something.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy how long it's taken. And it's, you're right, man. It's an inside joke with editors. And people throw it in there as kind of like a wink, to fellow editors out there. I always thought that was cool. It's pretty
always
cool. See, if I knew you were an editor, I would know, okay, that's why he named himself Willhe1m Scream. So it makes perfect sense now. Do you have a motto or mantra that you go by or live by?
Be authentic.
That's good. I like that. Very straight and to the point. Oh, Kenneth.
I think.
Too bad it's named wrong because there's a different guy who actually did it first. Yeah.
I think he was right. Yeah. I think, but
that's what it's always called.
But it's funny anyway.
It's called the Willhe1m Scream.
I think it's the character is named Wilhelm. The guy who did it, I can't remember who actually did the scream, but his name is not Wilhelm.
I could probably Google it right now and find out who the name was, but I won't bother. But it is someone different. I can't.
Yeah, it's definitely someone different. Yeah.
Last question here, and I think Kingsley has one more question for you here before we wrap up. What is one thing that your community might not know about you?
I'm not sure. I mean, I could say it's the way that I look. They don't really know that much, but that might be a little too, that's sort of a cheat to the question.
Kenneth's calling you out.
What's that?
Kenneth's calling you out. He's like, don't make me grab a video from Discord.
I get mistaken for other people quite often.
Really? Can you mention who that person might be? Is it someone famous?
There's a few famous people. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any hints?
One was Kylo Ren. That's pretty straight to the point.
Sweet. Okay.
And one was the one.
Really? I know you're not as old as him, but dude, that's like my hero, man.
Not as old, but what's funny is that I think he's gotten older, even though he
still looks young.
He still looks very young.
It's sickening. I know.
But his look now, and like somewhere in his like mid 40s and me in my mid 20s, we started looking
I like it.
An awful lot alike.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's 50.
I think it's the hair.
I think he's 59 now. I think he's 59.
I think he's
Did he hit
62.
Oh, he's over 60?
He's 62.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
That's sickening, man, how that guy looks.
Great.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Kingsley, any parting question for him from you?
I mean, I already asked some at the beginning. We're going a little long, but I guess if you really want me to ask some more, I can.
Well, you have your kind of your patented question.
I know, but I don't care that much about them. They're boring questions. All right. What is your favorite drink and or dessert?
Ooh, I love these questions. Never a boring question for me. Favorite drink or dessert? Favorite drink is coffee.
Okay.
Favorite dessert is a chocolate chip cookie, a soft baked chocolate.
A tiramisu then? No, just kidding.
I love a tiramisu. My grandmother made a great tiramisu. But I think I usually go simple. And if it was a cake, it would be like a vanilla cake with like a chocolate frosting. Something very, very simple, even though there's some great cakes out there.
You had me at cake. Like, dude, I love cake.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Most people lose it after cake, yeah.
Oh my God.
Excellent answer. I mean, and there's an art to it. If you like chocolate chip cookies, I'm sure you have opinions on certain ways how you like them, because they can vary a lot.
They can. I like a stacked high one that's soft baked. Like a homemade chocolate chip cookie is the best.
Yeah, but what about a nice fresh out of the oven oatmeal raisin cookie?
Those are good too, and I actually really like a chocolate oatmeal raisin cookie. Like those are really good.
I can't resist oatmeal raisin. If the bakery in my grocery store has a fresh box of them, my wife knows
those are good.
to get me in the other direction because I will never.
Sometimes just an oatmeal cookie is good.
Yeah, they're good. Very good.
Yeah.
And how do you take your coffee? I'm sure it can vary, but what are you into?
No, I'm pretty set on one thing. I do a little bit of oat milk and a little bit of agave.
Okay.
With tend to be a dark roast.
Dark roast. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm a big coffee fan too, so that's why I had to ask. So
I love talking coffee.
We'll talk more offline, maybe.
That's cool.
Sure.
Very good. Well, thank you, Willhe1m Scream, for sharing your life with us tonight, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anytime. Enjoy doing it.
You're not out of the woods yet because we have our speed run. Kingsley shakes his head. It's a custom-made list for you. We're going to do that when we return.
Call the Praxic Order, call the Thanatonauts, the Ginseng Scribes, call everyone so they can witness you.
All right, this segment is called the Speed Run. I've handpicked 25 questions from a pool of over 1,000 that have been submitted to our community over the last 6 years. These are simple, quick questions just to get to know our guests at an even deeper level. No time limits, no contest, just quick questions and answers. So if you're ready, Mr. Willhe1m Scream, I'm
ready. I feel like I'm on Inside the Actors Studio. This is fun.
All right, here we go. Number 1, morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah, that makes sense being an editor. What was your first video game? I think you already mentioned that.
Yeah, although I will say, yeah, those were the first ones. Carmen Sandiego, yeah.
Got you. What is your favorite Destiny exotic? It can be from either Destiny game.
Icebreaker, 100%.
Oh, man. I know, I don't have mine yet.
You want Icebreaker.
Yes. Kenneth Daisy, favorite pizza topping. Okay. What is, if you could choose, who would voice your ghost?
I think Keanu Reeves.
That's a very good answer. That is a fantastic answer. That would be the answer I would give. Void, solar, arc, stasis, or strand?
Prismatic.
Okay. Politically correct answer. Got it. It's all right. I'm not done yet. Pulse, hand cannon, scout, or auto rifle?
Pulse, hand cannon, scout. I would say pulse rifle.
Okay. That's me.
Yeah.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Maybe New Zealand.
I like it. That's where my wife wants to go visit. Are you a music guy? Do you like music?
Yes, very much.
What was your first album?
First album was... let me think.
This may date you.
Oh, no. First album was Melancholy. Smashing Pumpkins.
Very cool. All right, a 90s guy. I like this. All right. What's the worst job you've ever had?
I worked at a gas station. That was pretty...
Self-service?
Yeah,
or full service?
It was a full-service gas station, and my boss was a real jerk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Stone. That was my first boss.
Doing an 18, putting gas in an 18-wheeler is not fun.
You'll be there a while.
It's there a while, yeah.
What is the latest you've been up gaming?
Oh, a couple of days, probably.
You've done a 48-hour stream? Oh my God, dude.
I remember when Halo 4 came out. I was up for a long time.
That is crazy, man. I'm psychotic after 8 hours. That's nuts, man.
These days, these are the different times.
I know, that's true. It's caught up with me. Are you a stealth player or guns blazing player?
It depends. I would say I used to be more of like in Destiny or any other FPS. So I was more of a sniper kind of player. I liked playing like range, but now I kind of like the whole like dip and dodge kind of element of like blink in D2 where you can
like cover shooter,
sort of move in and out. Yeah. And it's kind of like being sneaky, but you're sort of sneaky by surprise, like ambush.
Kenneth says it's currently past your bedtime. If you sweet or salty, and what's your favorite snack based on that answer?
Salty. My favorite snack is either Cape Cod potato chips with like some pickles, or guacamole and tortillas.
Nachos, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Just had that
you
tonight.
have to pull those away from me.
Yeah, I just had those tonight. If you had more time, what would you do with it?
Maybe play more tennis.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Who is your favorite? What is your favorite Destiny planet and why? It could be from either game.
I mean, I always thought the Dreadnought was amazing. I don't know if that counts as a planet. Sure. I guess that's Saturn.
It's a location. Moon of Saturn.
Yeah, I always liked the Dreadnought, and I'm trying to think where else there's somewhere else I really liked that is escaping me now. I mean, I loved like the original Cosmodrome from D1.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the first Destiny podcast you watched or listened to?
The first podcast. I mean, the first Destiny thing that I listened to, I was in, actually.
Really?
Which was like, which was a montage for somebody else for the Destiny Alpha for Ninja. But that was sort of a video. But then I think the first podcast I listened to was the Iron Lords podcast, actually.
I like that one.
Or well, actually, it wasn't the Iron Lords podcast. It was Ebontis's podcast.
The Camp
Last Word.
Last Word, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I wish they'd come back because I love that podcast. They had some great conversations in the podcast.
I think at the time they were calling it the Weekly Flashpoint because we used to have the Flashpoint in D2, like early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't watch it at that time, but I watched it later. Yeah, I mean, if you're watching Iron Lords, Kingsley, that's a 5-hour podcast, just so you know, Kingsley, since you're making fun of me for being
They're a good one.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Yeah, I'm not watching 5 hours.
No.
Maybe over like 2 weeks.
If you could take any one famous person to dinner, who would it be?
I mean, other than the people mentioned, just to say, like, this is weird, right? But, also I think Harrison Ford.
Oh, I like that. He'd be freaking witty as ever.
What's sort of funny is a lot of people would say my father looked like Harrison Ford.
Really?
Which I thought was kind of weird. Yeah, I thought was kind of weird, especially because of The Force Awakens and Kylo Ren. I'm like, what are the odds of that? But I think, over my lifetime, I don't think that there's like any celebrity that I could meet where I would really be sort of enamored by other than him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's music artists that get me nervous. I get fan crazy over music artists, but movie theater people, because I know movie theater people, actors and actresses, they're just like us. They just have a really cool job.
Yeah. I think also like Geddy Lee from Rush or Neil Peart. If I could bring Neil Peart back to life.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
Or Stuart Copeland seems like a real
with the Police
fun one on that side. Yeah, I love drummers and power trios or just trios in general usually. So,
man, I miss those groups. Yep. I hear you. Well, Rush is coming out with another world tour. It's pretty cool.
They are. Yeah, I saw them in the mid 2000s on I think it was the Snakes and Arrows tour.
That was great. Did you see that documentary they had out? That was my favorite documentary. My favorite music documentary, hands down. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. They're my favorite band. You talk music. That's my number one favorite band.
I love it. That's awesome, man. All right, good deal. It's funny, I wasn't a big Rush person initially when they first played their music, but as I got older, I really appreciated their music.
Yep.
Okay. Describe yourself in one word. No judgment.
No, I'm trying to think.
I know it's hard to do.
I would say probably. I'm trying to think what did I say was my motto before?
Be authentic?
Authentic. Yeah, I would say I'm authentic.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come across as very authentic.
For good, for bad. For good or bad.
I got you, man. Have you ever had a nickname?
Quite a few.
All right. If so, what's the origin? What's the origin of said nickname? And you can just list one.
Sometimes it was what I looked like. Sometimes it was what I sounded like.
Okay.
Sometimes it was in tennis. It was like, it was kind of being used as a pejorative, but they used to call me like friend or friend guy, but they would say it kind of like, okay, friend, they would always do that.
Like friendo?
Yeah, but it was always kind of like, because I was one of these people who I never really hated my opponents, but in tennis you kind of have to hate your opponents a little bit. And the people, I would always try to make friends with them after a match, like, oh, good match, and kids, they'd rather flip you the bird than,
I get that.
Be friendly.
Passive aggressiveness, I get that.
Yeah.
Can you drive a stick shift?
I can, awesome. And I did for many, many years.
Awesome.
Pride myself in it.
Absolutely, man. Favorite armor shader color?
There's some good ones out now. There's that, it's the red one, the one that I probably wear the most. I can't remember the name of it.
Is that the one that came with the Star Wars bundle? Like red and glowing?
No.
It's got glowing red and silver?
No, this one is red and black and kind of has like a fire effect to it.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Is it osteo? No, osteophage. Man, it was a bundle that they have still up for silver, but they released each one slowly. Yeah. So right. I've finally got all three.
I think I bought the bundle. I could
probably look it up.
Shaders, no, it's okay. We know which one you're talking about. The shaders, I always buy the bundles. I'm such a sucker for shaders. And please, Bungie, could you please make that sortable? I know we're going to talk about the vault, but can you make shaders sortable? That would be nice. Okay, next question. Do you have any tattoos?
No.
Okay.
No tattoos.
What weapon
Never
slot?
took the plunge.
Me neither. What weapon slot do you use as an exotic? The most for an exotic?
Usually primary, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. It's usually going to be a primary. Occasionally, it'll be a heavy.
Okay. On that same vein, what armor slot do you use most as an exotic?
Usually gauntlets.
Gotcha. You're definitely Warlock. Okay. What is what is your favorite Destiny super ability?
I really enjoy the one now, Song of Flame.
Okay.
I really like that, especially because it's just something very gratifying. I want to make sure that's the right one. It's
you're sending out the birds,
the roaming solar. Yeah, the birds. Because there's something very gratifying in PvP when you blink over somebody or into like somebody's perspective, and you're just right in front of their face, and you just release a bird right into their, and you're like, have this. Just
here.
I have no idea what.
Here.
Yeah, here you go. And so, just the way you sort of send that bird out, it's very gratifying.
All right, last question. Name one thing that you would change about yourself.
I would be less stubborn.
Okay. Stubborn's good sometimes, especially as an editor. Yeah, good deal.
Sometimes, but not always.
Well, Willhe1m Scream, you've now completed the speedrun. Thanks for playing, man. Appreciate you.
I love playing. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Well, I've got a question for everybody out there listening and watching. Is there a speedrun question that you think we should ask with future guests? If so, let's hear it. Just go to our 2026 speedrun channel in our Discord. Submit your question at the beginning of 2026. We'll have 2 drawings for a $25 Amazon gift card, and we will accept 1 entry per member, but you can give us as many as you like. We'll be glad to take them. So what do you have to lose? Let's hear it. All right. Thank you. And we will now get on with This Week in Destiny. Hey Guardians, would you like to send a question for the show to us? There are 4 ways to do it. First, you can join our Discord server at discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. There's also a join link in our show notes down below. We have Guardians from all walks of life and all over the world, from new lights to day one players to hardcore gamers. There's also a channel labeled Podcast Questions where you can type in your question for the show. So come hang out with us. You can also email us with your question at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or we also occasionally post about our upcoming show and guest, and you can respond there with your question at Guardian_D_cast is our X handle. Finally, you can send us a voicemail with your question at guardiandowncast.com, and we might play it on the podcast. Think of it as talking with us right on the show. Thanks for listening, and later, Guardian. All right, this week in Destiny for November 13th, 2025. This week in Destiny, we're ramping up our next dungeon race, giving you a deep dive into the new system called Vanguard Alerts. So we're going to be preparing for the dungeon race coming up here. CB Gray and Evan F 1997 will be streaming the day one, which is December 11th, I believe. Is it December 11th? I think it was December 11th. Was the Equilibrium dungeon, which is the new dungeon coming in Renegades. We don't need to go over any of this, but you will need, remember, you do need to stream it. One person on your team needs to stream it for the entire amount of time. If you need to block your screen, remember you need to get the approved overlays to put over if you're trying to cover certain information. But they want to be able to see what's going on, and it has to be video on demand. You have to set it for video on demand, so make sure of that. The Vanguard Alerts. The Vanguard Alerts are something new they're coming out with that allow you and your fire team to complete a range of activities available to players at all skill levels for rewards that will help you progress in the game. And activities include different playlists, our new Grandmaster Vanguard Alert, and the Desert Perpetual raid, as well as the upcoming Renegades dungeon. They should feel very similar to Vanguard Ops playlist and Grandmaster Nightfalls. So the way they're breaking down these activities, you have the regular Vanguard Alert, Arena Vanguard Alert, and Crucible. These are your several playlists. And I'm really curious what this PvE Arena Ops is going to be. But they say it's fast, uncomplicated to complete, and it has preset modifiers. So it's just, I guess, the way for they can just sit back and relax, right? And
they told us what it's going to be in the other article, but we can get to it then.
Okay, good deal. And of course, the Grandmaster Vanguard Alert. Remember Grandmaster playlist, Grandmaster Nightfalls? That's basically what this is. It's going to be very, very high level stuff. They say it's harder. It's more difficult than the Grandmaster playlist right now. The Grandmaster, do they still call them? They don't call them strikes anymore, do they? No, the Vanguard, the Grandmaster or something. I can't remember. But there's going to be a lot of good. Yeah, no, not the Pinnacle playlist. It's the Grandmaster Ops. Grandmaster Ops. It's under the seasonal tab. Anyway.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're saying each week they'll offer multi-stage challenges with rewards and XPs granted for each stage completed. The weapons you'll will earn from completed each stage will be tier 3 and above based on your account power and amongst the highest power drops you can earn in Destiny 2. Additionally, you're going to get Chronologues, Bright Dust, and Crucible. And I don't know about you, 50 Bright Dust and 50 Bright Dust in Crucible and Arena, that doesn't seem like a lot of Bright Dust. Does it seem to me like they're giving us less and less Bright Dust? I think we're kind of like the frog boiling in the pot right now when it comes to Bright Dust. I think they're going to severely start cutting us back on what we can earn. But
they're adding more with the orders.
Yeah, but it's still.
You should be able to get a lot more.
Okay, maybe eventually. I'm wrong. Okay. What's next? They say they're going to bring back some older raids and dungeons, and they are asking us, what would you like us to bring back? So they are saying to communicate with them. And this is all in the portal system, by the way. The call to arms updates. I mean, I'm not going to really go into this very deep. Just know that you can get the helmet now with only 500 power. So if there's a bunch of you that are close to 500, like I'm at 483, I think, I can go ahead and get into the ultimate playlist and I could probably grind it out, but it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. But I mean, I think there's there's one modifier they tell you to put on called all the same weapons or something, where it's like all bows, and it gives you like +5 on your score selection. So they've made changes where you don't have to be 550 power. In other words, you're not getting locked into that 550 power. The only players that can get that score based on that. So if you're at 500 power, you're able to get to that was it 1%, that top 1% to get that 100 points. So Bounty Bungie for Good. We talked about this last week. It's for Stack Up and Gold Star gamers. I'm a big fan of Stack Up. I love this. I love what they do for our troops. So tune into that. That will be on November 17th, which is, my gosh, is that this weekend? No, next week. It's next week. So they are acknowledging our veterans and military families for the entire month of November. So make sure that you do donate to the Bungie Foundation. Twitch channels where you can go look. And you got a beautiful emblem here if you happen to win against some really good players. I think there were some really good Crucible players in there that are going to be teaming up with some of the members that work at Bungie. Player support report, known issues list. Kingsley, anything there we need to know? Anything?
No, there's lots more than what it shows here. So,
yeah, it's the short list. Yep. Okay. All right.
Well, they just show some of the issues out of all the issues. Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's jump right into Bungie did release a calendar, and I'm going to switch into that now on the page. And they say in September, we shared a live stream outlining our plans between Ash and Iron and the launch of Destiny 2 Renegades, including plans for upcoming features and the roadmap of what's ahead. Since then, we've implemented many changes based on player feedback from Edge of Fate and leading into Renegades. As we continue to act on your feedback, we're taking additional time to craft our long-term strategy for the future of Destiny before we share a full state of the game and multi-year roadmap next year. In the short term, we wanted to give you a preview of the changes coming to Destiny 2 and Renegades and update 9.501 that goes live the week after launch of Renegades. The team has been focused on continuing to make improvements to power and progression, quality of life updates, and the start of a new weekly ritual alongside brand new activities and systems within Renegades. So let's get into this, man. The 9.10 we already know about. They've already made, everything more valuable as far as rewards. You get a better chance of getting tier 5 loot. We already know kind of about that. But
yeah, we don't need to go over that again. Yeah.
But in 9.15, which is what's going to launch with Renegades, further product.
No, 950.
950. That's right. The catch-up chest and everything, 9.1.5 has already come out as well. That's the catch-up chest that you can get from Saladin at the tower. The Renegades launch, though, with the 9.5.0 patch, you're going to get the Renegades campaign, the Lawless Frontier activity, exotic mission, new dungeon, Equilibrium, which we mentioned briefly. The new weapons are going to be the blasters, with the heat sinks where you have to pace your shots so it doesn't overload. The new exotic Praxic Blade, which is basically a lightsaber. Seasonal power does carry over, so whatever you're grinding for right now in the game will carry over into Renegades. Won't be any more grind for power if you get to the max. All exotic weapons and armor featured. The Edge of Fate featured gear continues. There's going to be a vault space increase of plus 300. Vault space sorting improvements, universal exotic armor ornaments. I thought that was exciting. Returning player bonus and rewards, and a 300 power catch-up will also be available for people coming back to Renegades that didn't already get their catch-up chest from Edge of Fate. So let's get into it. Let's break out of that. First of all, going into Renegades, they're going to be focusing on quality of life and rewards. And the first thing they're going to be doing is they're going to give wider access to power progression, especially in the expansion content. Players will be able to reach the power cap directly through Renegades activities if they wish. Hallelujah. Because right now you can't play the seasonal activity Kepler. You can't play on Kepler and increase your power. It's all, I think it's maxed at 300, I believe, which is so disappointing to me because I don't understand why of all the things you can do to power up, they make you go right to the portal instead of playing the activities that are on Kepler right now. That just bogs my mind.
That's going away in like 3 weeks. Stop talking about the past.
All right, fine. Fine. Okay. The vault capacity upgrades, they're going to increase the vault capacity to a total of 1,000. There you go, Willhe1m. 300 more. And we're working on more.
We need it.
Yeah. I just cut mine back. I just threw away a lot of weapons I should have not. Damn it. I lost a bet, so I had to clean it. In addition, the vault now has a revamped filtering system to help what you're looking for faster. So they give examples here. It includes, you can sort it by tiers, slots, power, highest to lowest. You can sort it by, let's see, by when you acquired it, the rarity. Yeah. I mean, that's a benefit, right? I mean, it's going to help us a little bit versus right now.
I think that looks amazing, honestly.
Randomly searching through your vault to find something, you know?
It's going to help me a lot.
So with this vault thing, do we think this is the thing that they were working on for a while, but that they've pulled back recently and they kind of stopped talking about it? Or do we think we still have another vault solution coming later in the year? Because I'm worried that this is now it. I'm not saying this is bad. Sure, it's great. We can filter and all, but I'm kind of afraid this is it. You know what I mean? And people are going to reach that 1,000. If they're already vault hoarders, another 300 is not going to make a difference. I guarantee it. And so they'll be complaining again, and we'll be back to square one. Do we think this is what they were talking about, just this filtering? Or do we still have hope for they'll have some better solution in the future?
What do you think, Willem?
I think this was it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately, too.
I will say the benefit of this will be probably less space used to a certain extent. Having more space is good, but I think the organization option will let people let things go a little bit quicker. And just
people like
overall, they do. I mean, nobody keeps more stuff, old school stuff, than I do, but I know that I have a lot of duplicate stuff. Like the tab that stands out to me the most is duplicates.
Yes.
Because that kind of stuff where I might be keeping 1 or 2 roles that might have been meta for something specific at the time, and I've just kind of forgotten about them. But I don't really look through them that much, and sometimes I try to organize that thing, and I just I lose momentum to want to do it very quickly.
That's
so I think something like that.
I don't think I've ever put a duplicate in the vault, but obviously, hopefully,
I have a lot of duplicate,
not a partial duplicate. Because if it's a partial duplicate, then people won't like that. But I'm sure it's a true duplicate. Yeah.
Well, I know I have duplicates. I'll find them when I was doing my vault cleaning. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Now, will people count? So when obviously perks, you can go off of that, but will it count a duplicate of a tier 2 with the same perks versus like a tier 3? You know what I mean? Like then we're starting to get into the weeds, but it'll be interesting to see what some people have different opinions on what a duplicate is all I'm getting at. But yeah.
If they made older stuff craftable, then we wouldn't need to say, I like this Kenneth guy, Willem. I'm a big crafting guy. I love crafting when they brought it.
He's my bud.
I love crafting. I don't know why they went away from crafting. They heard a couple people whining about it. It's a sore spot.
No, they went away because they don't even love the idea. They explained us why. So since you bring it up again, they said they like the idea because Bungie's a true RPG type game where there is randomness spot under weapons, and they think crafting should be a catch-up mechanic rather than the initial mechanic for getting weapons. It's more of a philosophy than anything,
It's content.
I always thought crafting would have been best served if you farm a bunch of weapons. Say you're farming a particular role on a weapon, but you never get that specific role, but you get several other iterations of that role with the different perks that you want, but not all on the same weapon. You should be able to break those down to make the one that you want, but only once you have so many
of them.
And all like the different.
Yeah, you still have to earn it. And then, a lot of games do that, actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, what I was hoping they were going to do, we were talking about the vault changes. This is what I was really hoping they would do, would just have a collections tab where you can, every weapon, every mod every modifier you've gotten for it on every role you've gotten, it checks off a list. And then immediately you can go to your collections and say, well,
pull that version
and pull that version, that exact version. That is basically crafting. But
that would be crafting. Yeah. And it's a cost or something, but
of course, make it a cost. You can't, obviously make it a cost, but I like your idea too, Willem, because if you have let's look at my vault. If you have like a bunch of the same guns and there's no crafting, like the Joxer's longsword here. I love this 2-burst pulse rifle. I have to have all 3 of these because it depends if I'm using it, if I have the head seeker for Crucible or whether I'm going to be using it. Well, that's not the right one. Or of course, where is it? I've got it over here. The one for, it's not there either. Anyway, the one right here. One for Crucible. Yeah, Repulsor Brace and D-Stab.
Oh, there it is.
That's the ultimate PvE role. But the fact that I have different versions of this, depending if I'm trying to create more grenade for a grenade build or something with Demolitionist or whatever, it makes sense to just have a drop-down menu. Then you don't have to carry all this extra stuff because I have to sit here and go through it and go, okay, Joxers, and figure out which one of these. It's just such a pain. Anyway, but
that's why.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, real quick, I was just saying that's why also 1,000 I predict won't be really any different in the long run, because for the people that like to keep all these things who feel like they need to, it's even 1,000 isn't enough. I guarantee it. So
it's an easy way to fix it.
Hopefully they can come up with another solution down the road.
Such an easy way.
It won't be enough.
This is a drum I will beat on. That this is one of the missed opportunities that Bungie had, because the one thing that kept me busy in Witch Queen when they brought crafting was I would grab that weapon every day and go get kills with it so I can this is before they even gave you the opportunity to upgrade it manually with materials, which I think that was a mistake. I just would get that one weapon. I'd work on that one weapon all week until I got it to level 16 or 17. And then I would go, all right, let's go make it the way I want it now. That's content. That's playable, repeatable content that people will tune into every day. But nope, they missed that opportunity. Okay, some people. I don't speak for everybody, as Kingsley likes to remind everybody. But that's the way I would play the game. I mean, I'm a Call of Duty and Battlefield player. And when I played Battlefield, I would grab the AN-92 and I would get kills in the game, playing multiplayer until I got that FLRI scope where I could see through smoke and stuff. It took a lot of kills to get that. Or whether it was Call of Duty, whether you were trying to get your diamond camos, right? You want to get all those 500 headshots with a weapon. That's why these games still today are repeatable and playable, no matter how sameness they are. I mean, every year they come out with another Call of Duty, but they still have those same camos that everyone's always trying to get, whether it's that or the certain kind of scope or whatever it may be. Bungie really missed.
Well, if you're going to compare other games that are true RNG, like Diablo or whatever, they're repeatable too. People like playing so it's really just opinion of what you like, I guess, one way or the other. You can't say one is better because of another game example. They both have followings of people that like one way or the other. Yeah.
I think it comes down to like what kind of grind and farm do you like? Do you like the leveling of the weapon itself or the drop of the weapon? Do you like the activity that gets you the weapon, or do you like having the weapon and then doing stuff with it? I'd say do both. Yeah. Just try to integrate that process a little bit better than what they seem to always try to end up sacrificing one over the other. And like I always thought that if they had done, like you have to earn so many, and then you can unlock the perks that way by earning them, and then you can craft it. Or if there had been like a way where the perks themselves, like every time a weapon drops, it has so many perks available. And by getting repeatable options of that weapon, you can unlock which perk you want. You can like decide kind of as you go up, almost like they used to do that in D1. Good. There was a bit of a leveling up of the weapon. Right. You could have just kind of taken that to the next extent and add it so that you can personalize it,
but missed opportunity. I still say
missed opportunity.
I know. I only play Destiny. So, okay, carrying on. They are now making universal exotic ornaments. And this will be only for PvE, by the way, because we don't want to confuse everybody in PvP. But yeah, you can grab any of the ornaments and switch it. And is this across classes too? Did I read that correctly?
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
That's pretty cool. Because there's some really cool gauntlet legs, whatever. Oh man, that is so sweet. I know that's a quality of life.
Yeah.
You like it?
Me too.
I'm really excited for this. I can't tell you how many times I'm seeing some build that I want to run on the Warlock, and for right now I'm using the Matiodoxia,
the chest piece
armor. And I'm like, I don't like how it looks, but I want to use it in a build. And even the ornaments that are offered, even if there was one I could pay for in the store, but there's not. or whatever, Now I can finally have the one, I feel this was kind of like an emergency lever they pulled. Like, we need to throw something in that'll really get people excited, because this is kind of one of those, because honestly, they might make less money in the Eververse store because people can just buy the one that they like, how it looks, and then they don't have to worry about other ornaments because they can just kind of, put it on. But I think I'm so excited for this, actually.
There's two things I will spend Bright Dust on, and sometimes even silver if it's really good enough. And that is weapon and armor ornaments, especially if you already own them, and shaders. So this is going to definitely scratch that itch, because I have like almost all the ornaments for most of the guns. I know we can't do it for guns, but at least I have it for my armor. Maybe they'll have it for guns down the road, but I guess it would make sense on guns. But yeah, I like this. This is a great move. Yeah. And I know Tajo mentioned this won't make me play more, but it is definitely a quality of life addition. And being that we're playing a Star Wars story, this will be even cooler, They're going to be having numerous sandbox buffs to existing exotics and legendary archetypes. I think that was in the Dev Inside article, which we'll briefly go over after this. They talk about Vanguard alerts and all that. Did you want to get into this, Kingsley, with the Vanguard alerts? I know you wanted to expound on it.
I do. And then also I want to get to stuff at the top, but I guess I'll just go to Vanguard alerts first. Yeah, hold on. Let me scroll back down here. Sorry. Wait, where are we? Was there text for Vanguard alerts?
It's right above it. There's text. We talked about numerous sandbox, and they talk about the Dev Insight where that explains all the stuff they're changing in the sandbox.
Okay, I'm glad they posted pictures of what these Vanguard alerts are, and then they also kind of answered the question you were wondering about these 6-player arena ops things.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there's portal activities, and I do want to loop back, at least by the end of the conversation, of how much new stuff's actually coming in the portal. And then there's a sub-portal now called Vanguard Alerts. So great, we have even more confusion. But anyways, what they're doing in Vanguard Alerts is we have a couple things, which this was really confusing because when I think of Vanguard, I think of like strike stuff, but they have a Fireteam Vanguard alert, which seems to be like quick play and stuff like that. I guess that can still be strikes. It doesn't have to be Crucible though, right?
Yeah, there's Crucible there
What
too.
do you guys think on that?
Yep.
Is there Crucible in there?
I see it player
yeah,
versus
there's
player.
also player control. Yeah.
That's strange.
It is a little strange.
That's a little strange.
Then what they're also adding here, this is a very weird area. They also have the raid, which no one ever considers raid Vanguard things. But anyways, and then this is where they're also putting the Grandmasters that are coming back, which is cool.
Right.
And basically what's happening is some of these things will change weekly. I don't know if they all will. Maybe they all will. Obviously, the Grandmasters will probably change weekly. The raid can't change weekly because we only have the one raid that's kind of in the portal system so far.
They did say they're going to rotate in.
Weekly.
They're going to rotate in older ones later, they said.
Yeah, but not part of this article. And that's part of the TWID where they want our feedback. That might be coming at earliest, the third update.
Shadow and Order.
Yeah. And then, but let's just talk about, of course, we have the arena ops. At first I was like, okay, well, it sounds nice and all, but they kind of give the example of Catch Crash. And, when they brought in like the dungeon, we're getting the actual dungeon coming out, but remember when they brought in the little dungeon light things in the portals with kind of like these mini encounters?
Yeah.
This may be like that. I don't know. It may be the full activity. We don't know on that, but they showed us with the screenshot, we are getting Catch Crash, Astral Alignment, and Nightmare Containment.
Nice.
And I feel like this is a huge missed opportunity. No one really wants these. Astral Alignment's probably going to be the most popular one. But imagine if they would have brought in Menagerie. Imagine if they would have brought in other things like the Sundial.
Oh, please.
Nightmare Containment. Catch Crash. I liked it fine, but most people didn't like it. And then Astral Alignment, kind of bored of these days. So I don't know how many people are really going to be caring about this. I'm sure the screenshots are not fully fleshed out yet because don't even look at what rewards it says because that looks like pitiful. So they better be increasing the rewards for these activities. But I'm just kind of like, even though I love 6-player activities, I feel like this was implemented all wrong. There's not much in here, and I just don't know how people are going to take to it. What do you guys think?
What do you think, Willem? What do you think about this?
Remind me, Nightmare Containment, that was a 6-player activity?
Yeah.
That
was?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I seem to remember it being.
I know Catch Crash is.
Nightmare. Yeah, that's,
yeah.
That's the Haunted Leviathan. Mm-hmm.
The Haunted Leviathan.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of crazy that we're seeing any Leviathan.
God, really?
Yeah.
I've been sort of a proponent of this idea. I didn't know how they were going to do it. I think Dares of Eternity should be in here probably.
So many things should be in here, yeah.
Yeah, but I do think 6-player activities are one of the more unique things in D2, or I'm trying to think of is the Wellspring was the one from Savathun's Throne World? Wellspring, was that the one that was in there?
Yep.
I don't remember anymore.
Yep. Wellspring.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a 6-player.
Yep.
I just feel like those are sort of those things that are unique and I've always found really, really fun. I think it's something that they need to try to integrate a little bit more. Like I've been a big fan, I thought that if they did something like what they did with dungeons during the end of Lightfall, where there was those sort of dungeon light, but they did it with raids. I thought that would be a cool thing. One of the things that I think needs to happen though, is there needs to be sort of, for these kind of activities, there needs to be more communication between the players. So I feel like this kind of stuff is really good if you feel like you have to end up communicating with players regardless if you want to or not, maybe in some cases. But what I think that does is it kind of broadens the player base of people who only play by themselves to get more involved with other players and then explore more of the content. Because I always have found that a lot of the content that people end up playing a lot of, even when they're just there for a very short time, is the 6-player content, but they don't have access to it as much as they want because you can't get a raid group together, you're not going to do it. And with like these activities, when I'm pretty sure when they first came around, there was always a higher tier, like a master level version of it that you needed a match-made group, or I'm sorry, you needed to get your own group in order to go into if you were going to be able to do it. I feel like that activity, whatever level that is, that should be match-made, and it should just be opt-in audio or something like that. Like opt-in game chat. And that could be like the mandatory thing.
Yeah, and Wellspring was a really quick too. If you had a lot of good players with you, you could get through it really quick and get your rewards. So they mentioned it was going to be a little more casual, where you can just sit back and chill, right? So it wasn't going to be like, like the full.
Yeah, I'm not worried about how difficult this will be because we already
it won't be difficult
activities without Mike, anyways, for the most part. But
right,
and I'm even guessing that it may not be the full Catch Crash just because of reasons. It may not be the full Nightmare Containment. It may not be the full Astral Alignment.
Okay.
Whether it is or not, I don't really care that much. Yeah. But I love 6-player activities too. I just don't see this moving the needle much as far as getting people super excited.
I don't think it really will that much either. Yeah. I think the idea, again, it's like the idea is there in the right direction. The 6-player activity is a key, I think, to a certain level of engagement and a new kind of engagement amongst players. But I don't know if this is in its form as it is going to do much.
I mean, speaking for myself as this type of player, I did go in and play Pinnacle Ops several times because the Mint Retrograde was there and I wanted the Mint. So to me, it's all about the reward. If the reward's strong enough, I'll play these activities. But if they're kind of lukewarm, I agree. I don't think they're going to catch on very much, but at least they're there, I guess. We'll see how popular they become. But man, Catch Crash, I think I avoided that one during the season. That pirate season was terrible.
No, I know you did. Actually, thought it was a pretty good activity. Especially if you ever run that one on Legend or Epic, whatever they called it. It was a lot of fun. You had to be on your toes.
Okay. It was. The season was bad, but that activity was pretty fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
It was pretty busy. I remember it was pretty busy. That's for sure. Even for 6 people. You know, I got to say one thing. They have doubled down on the seasonal track. I love the way they have this set up, though. The way they have this new seasonal track set up, where instead of having just 3 bounties and your weeklies that you can scroll at the bottom down here, I love that they have it all laid out, splayed out like this, and then they have these extra orders over here, I guess, which look very simple orders. And I guess this is where you're going to get.
So the weekly reward is going to have more than in the past. Is that what you were saying?
No, I mean, I just like how they have this laid out a little bit better. And there's more bounties in front. It looks like there's more daily bound. Okay, I see. They got the weeklies. So they moved things around a little bit, but they added this extra tab over here with the orders. And I think they said they awarded Bright Dust. I think it's considered a lot like Pathfinder, where they'll give you less and less Bright Dust the more you reset them. Yeah. So we'll see if they're resettable. I don't know what this term is. Maybe this is where you can reset, maybe. I don't know.
I think they said eventually dailies, it's like once you reach 6,000 through any source,
gotcha.
The dailies stop giving you Bright Dust, but the weeklies and seasonal, or the weeklies and the exotics keep giving you them. They just give you them at a considerably low rate, but you can still keep getting them. So I think you can get infinite amount of Bright Dust now. But it's just going to get significantly harder after you reach 6,000.
Work busier for it, yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff is, these bounties are so broad in general, and this is the way they need to have it if they want more players to engage with the game. They make it like
bounties,
you got to use a shotgun and Crucible, pass, I'm out, But when it's like, successfully complete portal activities, come on, how hard is that going to be? I think it takes
but also remember now, even for the things that is like defeat targets, or if they pick a certain weapon again, it's shareable now. So even if you don't get the final kill,
that's right.
You'll get a percentage of the point.
Yeah. Okay,
and that's what they obviously should have been doing all along. But that's why I said back in the day, bounties were kind of bad because you were competing with other players. But now they finally. This is kind of an idea I had a long time ago. I didn't call it orders, but I had an idea.
You did.
Laid out
I remember you talking about it.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. And the Zavalas, the orders that you can accumulate.
I think I called them aspirations.
Yeah.
But anyways, the name doesn't matter.
I think the
I'm just going to steal that in about a year.
I think unlocking these things to go to Zavala every week that's a win too, because a lot of players they'll wait till the last day before reset and try to get their highest power gear, which I think is very good. Not to mention you get a several different roles of the same weapon, which I think is really neat. So that gives you a chance to really hone in on what weapon you want to get. And all you got to do is just complete the seasonal track every week. This is a win for me. This is a win for Bungie. This part, Bungie, people will engage with. So, all right. Upcoming events. Guardian Games comes in March. Arms Week, we're going to come back in January. I think they're focused on bows. The Dawning is in December. Dawning, I have fun playing Dawning. I've always loved the Dawning activity. Throwing snowballs at everybody on the tower and making people rage. Yeah, I think that's pretty fun. Called Arms again in mid-season April. I think this is going to be, nope, it doesn't say what it's going to be about. Iron Banner. Now, I got a bone to pick with Bungie here. Bungie, you got to bring Iron Banner all back more than just once every season. You got to bring Iron Banner back. The thing I did say in the past, that how they can keep people engaged in this game, the events are a win. The weekly events that pop out, they're not weekly, but about every couple of weeks they come out with on Arms Day, or it's always something. I don't like the heavy metal game, but some people love it. Just speaking for myself. But Iron Banner, man, if you want to see your numbers go up, I guarantee you, look at when Iron Banner's released, the numbers go up. Especially with a new armor set that they just put out this last time. I guarantee you there's people right now that are waiting for Iron Banner to come back so they can go back and get that armor that all their friends have now that they didn't decide to play the last time. It's a win, Bungie. People love to play Iron Banner, even if they're not Crucible players. They just love jumping in with 6 other guys and girls and just chilling out and shooting people. And I don't know. I'm really surprised they did
that on me, Ricky Bobby.
I just think they missed the boat there. I think Iron Banner is an easy win for them to get numbers. I'm just saying. Especially
even though I don't care about Iron Banner,
you still play
I also think it should be coming around more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really should.
And it only lasts a week. I mean, that just makes sense to me. Anyway, that was the end of the article, but I just wanted to go over those.
Do you want to
like a calendar?
And then I can loop back up to some other comments I'm curious you guys think too. And also, they were smart about the dawning thing. They made that 3 weeks, just like they learned from the Halloween event, which I've been saying these special ones should be 3 weeks long.
Right.
So have 3 weeks of Iron Banner or have a 3-week Iron Banner. I don't know. But
I can't believe I only saw Iron Banner one time. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So I really like that they gave us this kind of like list. The list is the way I'd put it. And I like how it's laid out this time because, look, it's less pretty than the last one we got at the beginning of Edge of Fate, but that was all marketing gobbledygook in my opinion. And a lot of people got blindsided, like Todd, what you saw. Major update. You thought that meant more than it really was, you know.
Willhe1m, I was the most negative I've ever been, man. I was expecting Ash and Iron to be much more than it was. I was so bummed, man.
I think we all were.
This is just I mean, I was able to read through the tea leaves and I didn't get bamboozled by other marketing speak, but I love this because for a realist, this is telling us what we are getting and people can't be surprised. Well, maybe some people will still be surprised now, but we know what we're getting. And from the DLC, which I've heard rumors on its length, but I won't say what they are in case anyone wants to be spoiled or not spoiled. But aside from the actual DLC, we're not getting that much stuff, unfortunately. We're getting one solo op, one returning strike. We're getting this new Fireteam Op Arena thing, which is Catch Crash, which we've already had, Astral Alignment, which we've already had, Namor Containment, which we've already had. And then, of course, the rotating Grandmasters. And that's aside from assuming nothing will leave the portal, like get refreshed out or removed. So let's just assume nothing gets removed from the portal. We're only getting a few things added here. So I think I'm not even trying to give opinion on, obviously I would want more. I'd want more content, but they don't have the staff to really do that. But what do you think of the commentary about, at least it's all laid out, so we're not bamboozled. We kind of know what to expect going forward. Does that make you happy, sad? Like you're like, oh, I wish I had more, or this is totally fine? Like thoughts on all the above?
Well, remember too, the Renegades campaign is going to be huge. I mean, if it's anything like
I already said well, no, actually you don't know it's going to be huge, but this is regardless of the DLC. I'm just talking about the other content besides the DLC.
What do you think, Willhe1m?
Because even if the campaign is huge, that lasts certain people a few days, certain people a few weeks. But what about all the stuff after that for 5 months? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about, all this stuff here. Do you think it's enough? Are you happy? Are you glad it's laid out? What do you think? All the above.
I mean, I'm glad it's laid out versus it not being, because then at least you're getting something. There's been a question whether or not we would be getting anything after a certain point. So it's good to know at least somewhat what you're going to be expecting. And I think it's more than I had initially thought. To just harken back to like the Ash and Iron update, the major update. The thing that I was expecting was essentially a seasonal update. Something the size of a seasonal update that we used to get. Because things they're molded differently now. So amount of content like we would have gotten with a seasonal activity, maybe a different seasonal vendor, things like that.
Exactly.
Would play into the current, the current line of content that we have more. Meaning you would have felt like you got more out of a single season. But what we ended up getting was kind of just like an activity that wasn't really that interesting, and I think was a little bit bait and switch about what they were doing with it. And
well, so many people missed the word season was actually for 6 months. I thought that, but like season, it was not a season when that major update came out. The season was parts,
Right. I mean, I kind of assumed that. I was just thinking that it was going to be. I thought the activity would sort of have more in it, in addressing like a throwback to, and addressing like what we had done in the initial campaign to a certain extent, but also just be, I don't know, a little more involved. If it had been a 6-man activity, it would have been a little bit more interesting. Maybe if it had been on one of the 3 locations at a time, versus you go through all 3 of them. The activity itself, I think, was kind of the thing that felt lackluster when they talked about a major update. So I was kind of thinking it was going to be something more along the lines of like what we would have gotten with a single season release, considering that we were getting 4 of those every year. We were going to get like 2 of them, but they were going to go, or 1 of them, but they was going to go a little bit longer. So essentially, you're kind of breaking up the year into 4 segments again, but you're taking a little bit more out of each one by doing more events week by week and kind of using the content that you already have versus constantly adding new content. In terms of what they're doing here, this feels more like what I expected versus what we got in Ash and Iron, but
this doesn't compare to Ash and Iron because this is the big update.
Right. But I mean, but moving past the initial drop, like what we're gonna see in part 2, that seems more like that. Obviously, I think this is also going to be a much bigger launch than the last DLC, just for a number of reasons. Star Wars and having quality of life changes. Obviously more activities that I think people want to see, but it'll really come down to how well the content integrates into, what players are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And to a point, with, these menus, it's sort of like I feel like we're going to Denny's when we go to the portal, where it's like, there's so much stuff, I don't know what to pick, And so that needs to be, the new stuff really needs to be present. Like, when Heliosat came out, I'm looking for it. I'm like, oh, I wonder where it's going to be. Maybe to access it, I got to pick up something here, or I got to go here, or it's going to be. It was in the portal under Pinnacle, I think, but it wasn't even the top 1. It wasn't even number 1. It was like 3rd on the list. And then it dropped. And then as soon as I completed it first time, it went to 6th on the list. Like, that needs to be front and center. Like, have the featured thing, whatever it is, right on the main page. Like, that kind of stuff will go a long way in getting people wanting to play the stuff. It's like, even if they want to play it, if they have to go looking for it, they might say, well, this is not worth my time. At least not in the long run,
Yeah.
It turns them off.
Yeah. I mean, I thought with Ash and Iron, I was at least like a normal season. Like, you get a new vendor, you go to him and you get a few unlocked things. That's but everyone was tired of that model. Everyone was complaining about the drip content. So, I mean, I thought at least what I was expecting was 2 or 3 more activities in all of the portal events, including solo, which they didn't change a damn thing, which I was just bummed, man. Cause I love solo ops. I love jumping in there and grinding out and getting the number go up, number big. But yeah, I mentioned earlier,
but forget Ash and Iron, Todd, because I remember you were saying you were like, all sure they'll switch out. They're going to switch out a lot of things for Renegades.
I've never been so negative.
So
you so bad.
I don't know. Let's talk about Renegades now. So do you think 1 solo up, 1 returning strike, and then these 6 flare activities are enough?
For me, it's going to depend on what's involved in this Renegades campaign and this frontier activity, the lawless. We're going to be earning rep for these syndicate, right? For these different.
Okay. Well, I'm not talking about the DLC right now, but go ahead.
But as far as the main stuff, I mean, no, absolutely. I was expecting a lot more. 1 more solo op. I mean, I know it's a new one. It is a new one. It's not recycled content, but I don't know, man. Because
you were even saying you were hoping, like with Renegades, they would have like tons of new stuff in the portal. To me, doesn't look like it.
To me, the portal's a win because it's very simple. You know what you're getting. You know what power you're going to get. You know how much time it's going to take. It's very simply laid out. The problem is there's just not enough content in there to keep us all busy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Mm-hmm. They need to put more stuff in, and I thought it'd be additive. I thought they would keep adding with the updates.
It might still be.
Maybe.
We don't know if they're taking stuff away yet.
We don't know yet.
Let's assume that they don't. Best case scenario,
okay.
They don't refresh anything out of the portal. But they sure aren't adding a lot of new stuff in the portal.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we'll have the DLC. Yes, we can talk about that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just really concerned what the numbers will look like again 3 or 4 weeks after Renegades,
Yeah.
I think the Grandmasters thing will do a little bit.
Think so?
That is fair. I do think that'll help probably the most because of streamers and people that like to watch all that.
People like to do the Nightfalls every week for Conquer.
People also like tuning into something every week. Like they kind of like a weekly challenge.
Gotcha.
I've always thought that that's something, if they bring the raids back, the way that I would have brought the raids back is I would have just made, it's like if you can't give them all tiered loot, if that's too complicated, just make them available for power and make a featured one every single week, or add that to the portal in some way,
right?
And let it go. And you can scale the power of a raid to a certain extent. Like you could make, the mechanics. I always think that like a training regimen for people, it's like if you have all the mechanics there, but you just make the enemies easier, people will get through it. And then, there's a more difficult one where the enemies are, to your level. But you do that on a raid rotation. So every single week there's a featured raid, and that raid maybe has some sort of, learning companion, or the power is dropped in that one. So people who don't play raids often can get into it.
That's fantastic. Explorer mode.
And then just make, the drops in there powerful for that week. So whatever your power is, you're going to get power from it. It's not going to have a tiered system to it, but you can at least use it to level up. And I think that kind of stuff in the portal is the stuff that I was hoping to see. It does sound like they're catching on a little bit, at least with the 6-player activities. And yeah, I think the GM activity is going to be probably the thing that will have the most bang for the buck in terms of getting people interested every week.
We're gamers.
There's a lot of people were upset about GMs going away. And when I say a lot, I'm still not necessarily convinced it's like a significant amount of majority if we're talking about the big numbers, like the millions of people playing, but it still is an important thing. I agree, to get the people to come back and check it out every week.
It's very simple. We're gamers playing a looter game. You got to give us the rewards if we're going to put the time in. Got to get paid.
Yeah, and content. You got to have the content too. Yeah.
Of course.
Back then, GMs did give you it was a depth enhanced weapon. It was essentially like a tier 4. If it's just tier 5s now, because you can get them, there's got to be something else. It being there, people will like, but the challenge will not be enough. It'll be has to be a challenge for something that is very, very unique. So maybe,
do you really think they're going to come out with a bunch of new, like one weapon for GM, or is it going to be more likely a couple weapons?
I don't know. I could see the easy route would be tiered versions of older weapons that we don't have anymore. That would be the easy route.
That would be good. Yeah.
So like tiered shadow price or something.
Heck yeah.
But that's better if there's multiple, like each one has a weapon. That's better in my opinion.
Yes, totally.
Than just a pool of 1 or 2 weapons for all the GMs,
Totally agree with that, yeah.
Hey Guardians, I'm currently freezing my butt off because Gator has the thermostat too low, but you're listening to Guardians Downcast.
You're listening to what?
You heard me.
No, it's Guardian Downcast. Do I have to be jealous of him? I'm over this. Cut. Well, as much as I want to keep talking about this, I do need to at least mention the Dev Insight article we did get this week, talking about how the sandbox is going to be changing. There's going to be new gear bonuses, obviously, in the artifacts. Stasis Freeze, they're adding it to the Shatter. They're adding it. There's some exotics that weren't working very well when you froze an enemy, and they're just making adjustments to the fighting lion, a lithium, a lethanum, the Forerunner micro-missile pulse rifles, new Malpai, the Ariana's Vow, Leviathan's Breath, which is one of my favorite bows. They disorient. This was kind of interesting. They have a new universal word called disorient. It they say it's set up the same way. It's a subclass verb, and it will ensure disorient effects are consistent and predictable across all gameplay. And this includes shield disorient, flash counter, bewildering burst, photo inhibition, disorienting grenades, concussive rounds, reactive shock, Gemini Jester, and they have some other notes here and some exceptions, the Helm of St. 14. But they basically what they're doing is the visual effects as the victim. Wait, that's in PvP, never mind. But if I read this correctly, they are going to be given an extra. This disorient is going to create an extra flash where they cover their eyes, so they're not going to still be shooting at you. They'll be actually stunned. I like that. It's like a bright white, light white. But they said they're going to tone it down a little bit in PvP. Obviously, I don't want to be to be too powerful. Any comments on this new disorient verb that they're using here? Am I missing anything here, or does that sound about right?
I didn't really read it.
This was part of the new. So but just basically they're adding that flash of light that blinds, and the combatants will actually cover their eyes, which I guess will make them not shoot at you. The ammo system, well, we all know that the micro missile pulse rifles are being brought down from 18 to 14, which honestly, we had this discussion in our Discord that people were really worried that they were going to nerf the base damage on this gun. I'm glad they didn't. All they did is just made ammo a little more scarce, but all you got to do is just have a better build that gives you more ammo and more bricks. That's all you need to do to adjust for that. You'll just have to build into it now if you really want to use, lean in on your retrograde or your Malpai or whatever they call it.
Willhe1m, do you use Mint a lot, and are you disappointed by this at all?
Mint, I use once in a while. I'm not really that disappointed by it, though.
Okay. I guess that's easy, especially if you don't. Yeah. And I think this is good. A lot of times people complain about nerfs, but I'm more practical, thinking like you can't always only buff stuff or else you'll get a sandbox that's out of control. And yes, it was on ammo, so that was one of the better ways they could do it. This basically got me to have a 50-50 chance of not using Mint with Renegades, where before I would have still been using it. I don't use it just because of anti-barrier or whatever the hell. I use it because it's such a good weapon, even in raids and stuff. And now I'll actually consider using something else. I think it was a smart move they did this, personally, in my opinion.
Well, they're also...
I think it's one of those... Oh, sorry.
No.
Please.
No, finish that thought.
I think it's one of those weapons that's very convenient at the moment, and it has been since the launch because it plays into barrier champions. But yes. I think if I had a choice, I've never really enjoyed the ammo economy of it. I will say it hits really, really hard.
It does.
But I always like the rocket-assisted sidearms more, and just using Outbreak for my primary.
Yes, rewind rounds. Hail. Yes, definitely. It's a great rifle now.
Yeah, the Mint's been very good in raids because you can use it against like yellow bars where you don't even need to worry about like Void or Arc or whatever. True. And then also, even for DPS, geez, it's been like you run out of your heavy, you swap over to Mint.
I'll even hip fire.
It does hit like a drop.
Yeah, it's really strong. Yeah. They're adding more to the scavenger mods for machine guns and Lord of Wolves. They're increasing the exotic weapon ammo per brick amounts for Truth, Heir Apparent, Colony, Prospector, Darcy, Salvation's Grip. Please, Bungie, please buff Darcy a little bit more, please. It's my favorite sniper rifle. I love that rifle.
It will never happen.
It's a heavy. It's a heavy.
Every time. No, I want them to for your sake. But this is so funny. This is like the 5th time in the history of them talking about Darcy, and it's still never gotten back to meta.
They've.
I think they should switch Darcy. You know what I think they should do to Darcy? They should make, if you land all the shots, the last one is literally a
storm grenade.
No, it's as strong as they increasingly get stronger up till the last one is as strong as, I'm trying to remember the name of the sniper, the one that looks like a big cross.
Yeah,
that they just changed. They got a big buff. There's going to be a big buff to it.
I'll just look it up. I got one.
Why can't I think of it?
I know what you're talking about. It's the Cloud Strike, because I used to love using
not Cloud Strike. The one that loads the overcharge round.
They're fixing that too. They're buffing that. I know what you're talking
they're
about.
buffing it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know why I can't think of it. So it's basically like a faster version of that if you can land 5 shots.
They probably list it right here somewhere. They did talk about it.
They did. Why can't I think of it?
I mentioned it. Maybe you guys didn't hear me.
Oh, what did you?
If you're talking about the one that's in this article.
Yeah. What was it called? The
Izanagi.
Izanagi. The Izzy. The Izzy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Izzy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the last shot of Darcy is as strong as
I like that.
overload of Izzy, but they get increasingly stronger. That would be cool.
I mean, it's really fun on an arc build for Warlock. It's fun to use because
that's what you have to compete against. Things like Izanagi or Whisper and stuff, and that's why it's going to be so hard.
Izanagi is in the primary slot. This is a heavy slot. Come on, you got to give it more weight, literally and figuratively.
Well, we all know that not all heavy weapons are created equal.
They should put it. They should put it in a special weapon slot. They should put it in a special weapon slot. Then I'll be happy then. Anyway,
I think I can agree with you because Darcy never really seemed like a heavy to me. I know it kind of probably just has that.
It is literally a space gun. It feels like
heavy, but
it feels like a space gun when you shoot it because there's absolutely no recoil at all, and you feel like you're just. Anyway,
if you ever get,
we're at the point. We're at the point where I feel like Mint was so good it should have been in the.
Yeah, but Mint has recoil. But, Mint has recoil. It does have Mint recoil. What were you going to say, Willem?
Well, I'm just talking.
If you ever ran Darcy in PvP and were able to get a full heavy brick, that thing was ridiculous.
It was so much fun.
So easy to snipe with,
and it's such a neat scope. The scope's really cool.
It is.
It's nice and clean scope. I like clean scopes.
It is fun there.
Yeah. Okay, sidearms. There's I use the heliocentric. That's my PvP sidearm, and that thing makes so much muzzle velocity. The muzzle flash is so bad on it, and when you're firing it quickly, the visual effects is really bad. So they're fixing that with the heliocentric, the Faucus Decline, the Combat Defender, and a handful of other sidearms with silencers and extended barrels. I love these kinds of sidearms, especially in Crucible. But yeah, they're fixing that. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to try that in Trials or in regular Crucible. Submachine guns, they're going to give them a little more distance because they want them to compete with auto rifles, I guess. And generally,
I think this is smart.
Yeah, 10% more stability on controller. I guess they're a little better to use on a mouse and keyboard, I guess is what they're saying. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we had some discussions in the Discord about how why we like Yeartide and stuff, because especially if you have fire, it has a super fast reload, and Yeartide can kind of have that feeling of being a little closer to an auto rifle. When I look at other games, like I play The Division a lot, you'd be surprised how far their SMGs and auto rifles can go distance-wise. And I kind of sometimes, I guess that could break other things in the game, but I do great with SMGs because I play a little more aggressive these days. But I think for the people that don't like SMGs, if they can just kind of get this distance and a couple small things buffed up, people will consider them
more. It's
very
slight, but it is. It's a 0.05% to the scalar fall off. So we'll see. We'll see how that does. Rapid fire pulses are back. They're just slightly bringing them up. I guess they haven't been competitive with the other. I love rapid fires. There's a rapid fire that I love to use. I crafted it and everything. It's my favorite pulse rifle of all time, and that is the Peace of Mind. Level 114. I don't know how many kills I've got in this thing. A ton. This thing, I love using that Crucible too. So I cannot wait to break that out for Crucible when Renegades gets here. So that's going to be fun. And just interject wherever you want to here, Willem. I'm trying to breeze through it because I know we're caught on time here.
No worries.
Bows, they basically are reducing the draw times on a lot of these. Compound bows, bringing them down a little bit to make them. And fusion rifles are doing the opposite. They're raising up the recharge times on most of these, except the high impacts. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make people use more high impact fusion rifles. So they're, adding a little more charge up time to the rapid fires and all the ones in between. And then it's not as great as you get up to the high impacts. So it's not quite as bad. Shotguns, I think they're adding get a little bit more damage in PvE. That in a nutshell, that's what that means right there. Slug shotguns, the same thing. They're adding more. Actually, they're decreasing the damage against players because they've been very, very, especially the Chaperone has been very, very dominant in PvP games. So they're taking a little bit of distance, but they're actually helping PvE. They want you to use it more in PvE, but they're nerfing them a little bit in PvP If you want the exact figures, it's all in the dev article, which, by the way, we're going to have 2 more of those leading up to Renegade. Snipers, reduce flinch. God, help us. I love using snipers in Crucible, but my God, the flinch is still really bad. But you're going to receive less flinch when people shoot you as well. So, yeah, receive from players. Okay.
I think they need to increase the aim assist of snipers dramatically. Go back to D1 snipers.
Please.
That's what we need.
I love, hold on, my daughter messaged me. Yeah, the problem is I love using snipers. Like you, I love playing the long game in Crucible, especially on objective games. And man, I really miss using my snipers, but if anyone just sees you, you flinch. I swear it's so bad. And they've scaled it back, but it's still too bad. It's still really bad. Rocket pulse rifles we talked about, they're reducing the ammo size, but they're keeping the amount of time that, the damage, the base damage. Swords, they're fixing a lot of these swords. If you have an empty sword, you're not going to be able to have much power swinging an empty sword anymore. So they're nerfing that a bit. And the exotics, Ace of Spades, they're increasing distance. Memento Mori, extra PvE damage. They want you to play with these hand cannons, the Hawk Moon, the Ace of Spades. They want you to use them more in PvE, so they're increasing the power on them. Osteostriga, which used to be my go-to submachine gun, they're reducing the cooldown of the poison from 4 seconds to 2. We'll see how that works out. Suros Regime.
And hopefully you can get the game in Renegades, or can you still not get Osteostriga right now?
Sucks to be you.
Oh, can you not get Osteo right now?
You can go to Witch Queen. Can't you go to the Throne World and still get it?
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of the one in.
I think you get it when you play the
what's
campaign.
the other one in the Dreadnought, the exotic mission in the Dreadnought.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember how I got mine. It's been a while.
Or is that the Osteostriga?
Yeah, I got Osteostriga. That was the main exotic in Witch Queen.
Queen? Okay.
Yeah, and remember,
Dreadnought.
We loved it as warlocks. We loved it because we'd use the necrotic grips on it, and to give you extra burn, extra DOT. So yeah,
I love the Osteo.
Yeah, I think I released a short video of where I think I kept firing. It was on Throne World when all the thralls come out in certain areas. I literally fired nonstop without reloading for like 90 seconds. It was insane. How much ammo?
Do you remember how Vorpal worked too at one point? If you set the burn with Osteo and then you switch to a weapon that had Vorpal on it.
Oh yeah.
As long as that weapon was drawn, it would just continually dot the enemy, like infinitely.
And the fun police came in.
Yeah, sorry.
Shot all down.
It was the barrel.
Oh, barrel. Okay, yeah, I got you.
I got confused on those.
No, I don't think you can get the barrel down.
Barrel is the one you can't get. Right
yeah,
now.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I can you still get the catalyst? I got the barrel, but I don't have all the catalyst yet. Anyway.
I don't remember how to get it, but you just tapped it, right? But yeah, I'm trying to remember what you had to earn to get it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Yep.
It's all right, sir. I'm just quickly going through this. Suros Regime, they're helping that with whether you're speeding up or whether you're slowing down. They're looks like they're buffing that a little bit. They want more people to use it. Revision 0, my favorite pulse rifle ever. Thank you. Dang it. He used to have his own podcast too. Oh,
Revision 0. CB Gray?
No. He actually works for Bungie as a designer. Oh, geez. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with names.
Worry about it.
Anyway, it'll come to me after I quit recording. I love the Revision 0. I think this was a most well-designed pulse rifle ever made. And yes, I do realize there's some good ones out there. Hunter's Trace rounds. They now create a small shockwave that exhausts targets on impact. I'm going to try this. That's going to be fun to use. Touch of Malice, I don't have one. So I can't tell you if this is going to be better or not. Increase the amounts of healing. Reduces the number of kills needed to trigger the healing in PvE. So, okay. This was interesting. Collective Obligation. This was the most difficult to understand pulse rifle. And I'm a Void Warlock. I love using volatile and all this stuff. And I know it leeches from the targets, but I didn't use this because I did get this to drop in Val, but I guess now the more you fire, they slowly are going to add charges and do damage over time to the enemy. So basically in a nutshell, that's what's happening. Because they agreed it was very confusing to figure out how to use it in more of a relaxed environment. Symmetry is getting a little bit of a buff too. The reload stats going up by 20. The bolt charge, it only takes 1 stack of dynamic charge to alt fire it. Still Hunt, they're boosting that by 40% if you're wearing the Celestial Nighthawk helmet. And that's pretty good. Wither Horde, reduce silent alarm auto load from 3.5 to 2. They're trying to make people use that more. Duality, reduced hipfire spread by 6%. They want you to hipfire with it more. Chaperone, I talked about. It's very, very strong in Crucible right now, so I think they're nerfing that just a bit. Yeah, the rapid fire slug frame damage. It's the same as what changes they made to that. Ruinous Effigy, they want you to use it more. The Catalyst now grants 30%, 15% of PvP damage buff while using a Tracer or anything with the Transmutation Orb or damaging the mini boss. Izzy, special reload, once again, scales with reload speed stat. Tessellation, I had to look this one up. It's the really odd fusion rifle where it's a really odd reload on it. But anyway, they're making this a little more powerful, making the reload animations a little easier, a little faster maybe. Deathbringer, they're reducing the spread of the secondary duster munitions. This is so they will target a little bit better. I think that's what they're looking for there. Black Talon, increased max ammo reserve, added duelist trait, and reduced heavy attack costs from 3 from 4. So you'll be able to throw those little void charges in the air a little bit more often. Terministic Chaos, now releasing the trigger after Vexadecimal Progress, pulls 12 rounds into the magazine from reserves. Worldline Zero, did we even talk about that? Anyway, they're fixing some of the blink on it, I believe.
We don't need to talk about any of these, but if you talk about them,
I know, we're just for people know what's coming with the changes. Wolfbane,
yeah.
They increase the swarm nano damage. So they want you to use it a little bit more. Rangefinder is now back. You get 10 range while aiming down the sight. So all those rifles I have with rangefinder that I still keep because at least the other perk still works good. Now we can use those rifles back again. Box breathing, flat 40% buff to next shot's precision damage.
I'm intrigued by that one.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
Intrigued.
Shot swap. Did you ever use this? I really didn't use shot swap much, but I guess they're adding some speed to it. The buff no longer appears while stowed. Sleight of hand, which I never use this perk either. Increase the duration buff from 8.5 from 7. Bray Legacy weapon. This is the Bray Legacy trait. Increased gains from rocket launchers from 10 to 17%. Vest Stinger. Fixed an issue where the Vest Stinger origin trait wasn't working on Vest fusion rifles, so now it will be. Bewildering Burst, which is a new mod they just put on a lot of the weapons. Disorient duration increase from 0.5 to 1 second against players. Enhances 0.7 to 1.25. And the shield disorient, all these disorientation grenades and stuff. Fixed an issue where these perks would not apply the disorient effect to bosses. So there we go. There's the really, really quick rundown of how they're changing the sandbox for us to play in with Renegades. Anybody want to add to any of that we talked about at all? It's pretty
I think it'll be good to see Izanagi's back in the DPS meta. I think it was one of those things that should have never really left. It just has its place.
I used to use it a lot back in the day, so I'm intrigued. I would always main it in Garden, and I've gotten off of that a little bit, but it'll be fun to see it some more.
I just think that there was a time in Destiny 1, certainly, but also in Destiny 2, where snipers were a viable PvE choice. And in certain cases where it made things way easier if you could just range them. But I don't find that that's the case anymore, really. Very rarely do I find myself using a sniper in PvE.
Exactly. It's more about moving to the... GMs, if they're super hard, can be a little bit dipped. So, that'll help there a lot. So, I think it's a good option.
Yeah, Notorious Blast Furnace. I hear you, brother. I still got my original one. I won't get rid of it. Okay, I want to mention one thing before we move on to our final segment of the show. Is Willhe1m, you actually alluded to a possible third darkness subclass. What is your hypothesis, sir? I'm curious to hear this hypothesis.
Well, I thought this was a fun thing.
Okay.
Sort of. Most likely we're just going to be getting a new cool ornament. But the color of the lightsabers is going to be tied to your subclass. So if you are Strand, you'll have a green saber.
Right.
If you're Solar, you're going to have a yellow one, I believe. Blue, I don't know if blue is going to be Arc or Stasis, but it's going to be one of those.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're getting this darkness lightsaber that they premiered today, which again could probably just be a cool ornament, but there was a hint back in before we lost the helm,
right, that
there was initially supposed to be another darkness subclass. I think people have thought that there was supposed to be for years, and there was at least, whether or not they've showed all their cards as far as how far they went in that process. I think, some people would say they didn't go very far. Some people said they did go fairly far. I'm pretty sure that there was supposed to be 7 subclasses, 3 light, 3 dark, and then a prismatic subclass.
Right.
And then they just decided that prismatic was going to be the thing that they did. It was, maybe the development on that just exceeded darkness subclass, or at the time when they got to that point, they just thought, well, we'll just throw everything out there. This would have been during the final shape. And I also believe, I don't know, certain elements of Bungie were probably thinking of the final shape as their last hurrah in the development process. Not to say that they didn't think there was going to be stuff after that, but they were basically saying, this is the last bit that I'm going to do. So, that with other speculation. But the thing that kind of got me, well, also, just what I was saying, in the helm, there was like this altar that we were filling out over the course of, I can't remember which season it was, but it had 7 trophies.
Yes.
And each one corresponded to a subclass, but there was a space that was never taken up, I believe. There was like one space missing.
That's a callback.
But the other thing is that when we watched the trailer today, and I'm not a big lore guy, but sometimes things stick out.
Sure.
The voice that we are hearing is 6 of the 9, which is Saturn. What's on Saturn? Of all the planets in the solar system, Saturn has something very unique, the Dreadnought.
Dreadnought.
Yeah, it's the only place where there's been, a major development, at least of those planets. No, I mean, there's other. Kepler isn't a planet. Kepler is Kepler's outside the 9 planets. Now I'm getting confused on the lore, but it's not one of. It's not the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, or Neptune. It's not one of those. So it just got me thinking that, okay, this is the only member of the 9 that maybe has possibly been corrupted by some outside force. I don't know.
Wait a minute.
And maybe some outside. I mean, is that correct? Maybe that's.
Well, no. In the spoiler alert, in the Kepler story, the campaign, the prophecy campaign, wasn't it 6 who died? Or was it 3?
I think it was.
Was it 3?
No. It was.
I thought it was 6.
Maybe it was 6. But the thing is, in the trailer, somebody is talking to 6.
It's a very odd voice, too.
Right. So I don't know who that is or what they're referring to it as, but
3 died, Allocate says, at Twitch.
Okay. So, I mean, whether it's an opportunity where there could be a darkness subclass where they just say, this 9 was corrupted by this thing, and we get this kind of taken subclass.
Could you imagine if we got a darkness subclass?
I mean, it would be the biggest kept secret they've ever had. But if you really wanted to pull a rabbit out of the hat at the last minute, that gets people's heads flipped away from Arc Raiders, this would be it.
That would get acid cross off of it. That's for sure.
Not only a darker subclass, but a taken subclass.
Now here comes the pessimism.
So, well, you got to tell me where you're getting this good weed, because
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
No, look. Well, do you think if they did do this, and obviously I don't think they will, but
I don't think they will either.
I'm not trying to knock down the idea. Are you thinking like they would tell us leading up, or it would be a total secret?
I think it would be a total secret. I think it would be.
And marketing, that would never happen. They have to sell those subclass things.
Think of the final shape, or not the final shape. Think of.
No, what was that one? The sniper rifle.
No, I'm trying to think of the zone when we got during the.
I know what you're saying for Forsaken.
Not the Willhe1m expansion. Forsaken. During Forsaken.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a whole thing that we. Well, I think a class actually might be easier in some ways.
Yeah.
If I'm than hiding a whole zone and a raid.
Well, I mean, how easy, but I mean, marketing, they're leaving money off the table. And sure, people might then buy it once they hear about that. But like,
yeah, I
so many people want a new subclass. If they did not market that ahead of time, that would be like,
yes,
their top C, they would never allow to not market that.
But I will say that the element of surprise can't be undersold at this point. And what would be more impressive?
Yes.
So because you got to think, we're also talking about a certain veneer of the company. So what's more impressive? They say, oh yeah, there's going to be a darkness subclass, and everyone goes, oh, finally, the one that we've been waiting for. Now they're just releasing it because they need us to come back. They're desperate. Or did you hear that they got away with all this marketing and nobody found out that there's going to be a darkness subclass? Bungie has lost their touch.
Exactly.
But I still think it's smarter to get the pre-sales ahead of time on a monetary thing. So it's just not going to happen.
It's whether or not you feel as though you could turn the needle long term by doing something like that. For me, go ahead.
They should do a study. Like I like what you're saying. They should do a study. Like if more people would buy it after the fact,
it's organic marketing.
It as a surprise.
Yeah, I think it would. Definitely.
I think people. Yeah, I think
the fact have money earlier than later. We know that for cash flow.
But if you don't know if you're even going to be able to make any money later, it's kind of like, you almost want to, it's like you're trying to rebuild the brand a little bit.
You're creating some buzz.
And there was always a level of secrecy in Destiny. Like, they would tell us, oh yeah, we're getting an exotic mission, but we're not really going to tell you where it starts. We're not going to tell you how to get into it. And we're not even necessarily going to tell you exactly all the things you need to do before. It's just going to be there. And like that kind of stuff, people enjoy figuring out. I mean, look at the chess game that they just did. A little bit of secrecy goes a long way because it makes you feel as though you're not smarter than the company and that they can keep stuff from you that you are not. Plus, it over delivers. If you don't expect to be getting something and all of a sudden you get it, people who would be naysayers, I think, of Bungie would all of a sudden go, well, that took some real class and planning to be able to keep that under wraps for all this time. I'm going to go out and buy the game right now. I'm surprised. I don't know. I didn't see it coming. Yeah. I'm gonna go buy it right now. I mean,
I guarantee you, some of the friends that aren't playing the game right now, even if they heard that, some of my friends, they wouldn't necessarily buy it afterwards. But some people would too. So I really.
But would they be shocked that they kept it secret?
They'd be shocked, but they still probably wouldn't buy it.
I don't know. I think
they might not buy it.
Yeah. So many people are not coming back to Renegades that I've talked to. That's why when we had the discussion of like, I don't actually think it'll do better than the last one. I think it'll be about the same. And the people I've talked to, like, you would have to like have something twice as big as Final Shape or a Destiny 3 to actually come back at this point. A subclass isn't going to do it.
I think if there was another subclass, it would Renegades would probably sell more regardless if you told people about it or if you didn't. So that's kind of my thing, is like, I don't know if more or less people would necessarily come back, whether or not they found out before or after. But I would say that if it was a surprise, it would at least get people talking, and it would in my opinion, it would do more to rebuild the brand of Bungie, which at this point might be worth more to them in the long term.
All you have to do,
some surprise missions.
All you have to do is look at Claire Obscura. Look at Claire Obscura. No one. They didn't market that game at all. It was from word of mouth that I even started playing it. Everyone said, "Oh, you got to try this game, dude. It's going to be game of the year." I'm like, "Where'd this game come from?" And can you imagine if they didn't blab everywhere that Cade died in Forsaken? Sorry, spoiler alert. Do you imagine how crazy Bungie would be if they didn't tell you that Cade got killed in the last part of that story? You can't play it, so I can spoil it.
You'd be watching videos of people who just picked up the game, playing that part and screaming. Now,
my wife would be more mad, actually.
She likes Cade.
Yeah, she does not like the fact that Cade died. And
undelete.
Yeah, if that was a surprise to her when it happened, she would have actually been more mad.
Yeah,
and everyone loves a surprise. I mean, what's a better party? Knowing that you're going to a party for you, or a surprise party?
I'm telling you,
not everyone likes a surprise.
Everyone likes a surprise party.
Yep.
No, but I love the.
I mean, I
right into the shot.
A lot of studios do the leaks. They do the leaks. That's a good way of getting that.
We have time. There is time, but I'm thinking maybe this is a leak, like a direct leak. Yeah. But it's probably just an ornament.
Probably. I heard that in
trial.
I heard that in your video, and I had to at least mention it tonight. All I know is I'm going to be frickin' Mace Windu with my Voidlock, so I'm happy as a clam. That's for sure.
That'll be fun.
Hey, listeners, I just wanted to take a minute to thank our sponsors and advertisers. Thanks to our Patreon community, we don't need to worry about that. So enjoy continued ad-free listening, and if you're thinking about giving back to a listener-supported podcast like this one, check out GuardianDownCast.com and hit that Patreon button to find out more. Later, Guardian. All right, one question we did have, this is bonus content for our audio listeners out there. Don't you guys feel special? This is for Mr. Willhe1m Scream, and of course for us if we want to answer as well. This is All Hail Odin. His question is, it seems that the new event rewards players for achieving top scores with points to obtain the new loot. Willhe1m Scream, what motivation would a new to Destiny 2 player, is what I think he's trying to insinuate there, have to participate in the event? Will points stack like XP to earn the reward, or should new players ignore this event and continue grinding gear and quest?
New players should definitely play the event. One, the loot that you're getting from it is incredible both in the amount, the tier, and the power, because you're going to be getting more of all of those, especially if you play the event activities themselves. As far as the points are concerned, also worth it, because you can do all of the different activities and stack up the points. And if all you want is the flaming helmet, which most people, probably all they want.
Yep.
No, it's really all I want.
That's all I want.
If you can get into the top 30%, it might even be lower than that in, 4 out of is it 5 activities or is it 6? I can't remember now. But however many there are, if you can get in the top 30 of 4 of them,
okay,
you'll have 100 points. You're good to go.
Oh, that's good.
If you can get a reasonable, even if you get into the top 50 of all of them, you'll be able to have enough points to possibly get the helmet. I'm trying to think, it might have to be the top 30 of each, and you'll have enough points to get the helmet.
That's viable.
But in any case, you'll be able to get, just by doing the activities, you're going to be getting a lot of loot. It's going to be very high tier loot.
Yes.
Versus where your power is. You're going to catch up in power a lot because you're going to be getting a lot of duplicate powered gear. So, you're going to be getting more than one pinnacle for every single drop, essentially, or every single completion. And then once you get up into the higher power tiers, so once you're up, in the 400s plus 450, or if you get to 500, which is very possible doing this, even just farming a solo thing like salt mines, you could probably get to 500 in a couple of days.
Okay.
You'll also be getting a higher score. So that'll add to the score, and you'll be able to get into that higher bracket and then eventually get more points. So it's things like the events are probably the most worth it to farm for new players. It's probably the best thing for new players to farm whenever there's an event.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Anything you want to add there, Kingsley?
No, it makes sense. Yeah. For a player like me, I'm still at 350, and the fact that I haven't gone up yet, I still don't care to go up more. But I agree for new players. Like, I'm a newer player in the Division 2, and when they have like seasonal events that come around, and the Destiny events are really good with this too. Like, I loved doing the Halloween one and the Solstice one because of some of the things that are happening. So definitely a good thing for newer players.
Okay, excellent.
The festival event was probably one of the best events they've ever done, if I'm being honest. Seasonal events, yes.
Okay, let's see. Let me make sure we have any other Destiny questions. Okay, you've played the Desert Perpetual raid, Willem?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Dead Rabbit has a question here. He goes, what is your preferred order of encounters in the Desert Perpetual raid? Because you can pick your own encounter, except the last one. Which armor sets are best to you, and which are you using in case you don't have them?
I use the Desert Perpetual one and Disaster Plan or Smoke Jumper. Or Bushido's also pretty good. Like, if you like those four, it's because Smoke Jumper is another one. I'm trying to remember. Smoke Jumper is the other one that gives you a bit of a healing buff.
Yeah, it gives you damage resistance.
It gives you damage.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, damage resistance.
It's like a decay.
Yeah, so I use the one from Desert Perpetual and the Bushido armor set, like a combo 2 and 2 for the extra bit of healing, or the Disaster Plan Bushido. As far as the order goes, we usually go the. It's funny, I can't remember the names of all the encounters, but the chicken one first. What are the chickens called?
Wyverns.
Wyverns.
The wyvern one first. Then we usually do the hobgoblin one. And then we do the Templar one, and then we do the final one.
Nice.
So usually, like, easiest to hardest, usually.
What do we do, Kingsley? Usually the first person up there just decides, right? Goes ahead of us.
Yeah, we don't. Well, also, I thought the question was me asking like preferences, but like if they're just talking about order, I personally like to mix it up. I don't like a preferred order. I like to mix it up each week because I like variability, and this can be done that way. But I do prefer Hydra as my favorite. What'd you call that one? Templar? Or
not Templar, yeah, Hydra.
Yeah, Hydra. Yeah. I just want to make sure. And then
I always revert back to Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
No worries. And Wyvern's my least favorite. I just think it's kind of boring.
I hate getting thrown in.
That doesn't even make sense.
Just bugs me.
Like, there's a lot going on, but it's just boring to me. But then Hobgoblin would have been lowest on my list, but once it clicked for us, it clicked well, and we've done perfectly in it ever since. So that's probably my second favorite. Nice. Now, the boss encounter, even though it's beautiful, I think it's a little boring-ish also. So I'd put it like maybe in the middle somewhere. Yeah,
it's Hydra for me. I love calling out the stuff in the cave.
Hydra is so fun. Yeah.
It is. I like that mechanic. It's really nice. Yeah. I mean, I
think of the challenge. It's probably the most challenging for sure. The Hydra one.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of groups, Hobgoblin was the most challenging for a long time.
Well, we will
those laser beams.
Oh, that's my least favorite. I hate that one because I always forget that I'm getting targeted, and then by the time I figure it out, so about every 3 or 4 raids, I forget and I end up dying, wasting a token. It's a pain in the butt. But
for some reason, please, sorry.
Well, it clicked for us. If you were going to say, like, yeah, I mean, it was hard for us at first, but then it just clicked and it got easier.
For some reason, that one, after we did the first one, after we did Wyvern took longer for us to click than Hobgoblin.
Oh,
once we had the mechanics for the first one, we like did the second one the first time we went through it.
Well, yeah. Also, Wyverns for us, we tend to have the most variability, and it's just annoying. Either it can go really well or it can go really bad. And that one hasn't locked in as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does happen that way.
I just I hate getting thrown in the air. I always try to jump in between on the offbeat, but sometimes I'm worried about all the swarming stuff when I'm getting on the platforms.
Todd does the jumping position.
Platforms. Yeah. It's always a pain when you're having to finish off everything up that's shooting at you where you can't even interact and move up to the next level.
OMG, it's Brittany, and you're listening to Guardian Downcast.
Speaking of patrons, a big thank you to our Patreon community. They give back every month to our community. Their contribution every month really does help. So a big thank you to our Dungeon Champion patron. That would be Deadpool1Merc. A big thank you to our Raid Boss patrons. That's Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Before we go, some final thoughts to wrap up this week. Bungie opened up the fire hose this week with a calendar, not a roadmap, a dev article, and also its normal TWAB or TWID, however way you want to say it. And it's nice to see what'll be coming down the pike through December. I mean, I'm really looking forward to earning that rep for those syndicates and playing an entirely new storyline in the Prophecy Saga of Destiny 2. Not to mention a purple lightsaber, am I right? Shout out to all our Voidlocks out there. I'm curious what you are looking forward to for Renegades. Will you be playing it? Let me know in our Discord GDC feedback channel. It's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. Our community is always very welcoming, so don't be shy. You can email us at guardiandowncast@gmail.com if you have a question for us, or let's hear your voice. You can leave us a voicemail at guardiandowncast.com and just hit that send a voicemail button. The rest is very easy to figure out. A big thanks to Mr. Willhe1m Scream for stopping by to chat with us this week. I'll put his YouTube channel link in the show notes if you'd like to see his great Destiny content. Thanks to my co-host, of course, Mr. Kingsleymac as well. It was a really fun show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hey, before you go, check out my brand new podcast, 50 Years Experience Required. It's on all the podcast apps out there. It's a more personal podcast, a more kind of a slice of life podcast. And a thank you to all of those that have been listening. My listens continue to grow every week. So thank you very much for tuning in and checking out the new podcast. And let me know what you think of it. You can send me a DM in the Discord, or you can just email me at ToddtheGatr@gmail.com. I have a brand new episode coming out this week. I talked to my friend Bill, and you're never going to believe his story. This man should not be walking right now. He should not be alive. So it's the man that cheated death, and really look forward to sharing his story. Can't wait to send that out. It'll be out very, very soon. So look for that. That'll be my friend Bill. Next week, Kingsley and I will return with another live episode. We'll be live on my YouTube and Twitch. It's ToddtheGatr, ToddtheGatr, and also in our live stage of our Discord server. So we'll be streaming live to all three platforms simultaneously. So I hope you'll join us and interact with us in the chat. We'll have our second guest episode next week with a brand new guest, and we'll get to know him better and hear about his Destiny journey. And of course, a brand new speedrun. Hope you'll join us live. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in the collection. For our new listeners out there, we have 329 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community, talking Destiny and whatever on our roundtable episodes. So take a look at those, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, tell a friend about us. Everything is at guardiandowncast.com, or hit that share button on your podcast app. I appreciate you. Remember, as you're playing Edge of Fate, Call to Arms, take breaks, get outside, and touch grass. Notorious, thanks for showing up tonight, man. Welcome to the community. Hey, everyone, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, and your destiny. And please be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
Defeat is not surrender, Guardian.
Thank you all so very much for listening. And later, Guardian. Hey, man, that was awesome. That was a great show tonight.
I love the idea. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by, Willhe1m Scream, because this was I love talking with people about Destiny. I know it's not the most popular thing right now, but we still all love this game. We want it to do well, and it's just I really hope we see a future for Destiny 2 or whatever Destiny and whatever thing comes out for Destiny. But I know Sony's devalued Bungie a little bit. $200 million, I heard.
A little bit.
But $200 million out of $3.6 billion. That's still
it's a drop in the bucket.
It's really not much. Yeah, for sure.
There'll probably be more. In the future.
In the future, if Marathon doesn't do well,
or does
that might be a problem. But yeah,
I'm telling you, I'm not too. Anyway, I'll keep my mouth shut on that.
Not just Marathon's fault. Destiny's not doing good either.
True. But hey, Willhe1m, great show, man. I really appreciate you stopping out. That's our show, guys. I wanted to say thank you to Mr. Willhe1m Scream here. Willhe1m, please tell everybody where they can find your awesome videos on YouTube and wherever else you want to plug tonight, man. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's been my pleasure being here, and I'd love to come on again in the future if you ever have me.
Sure.
Because I love talking about the game, and we'll definitely have to do. Outside of the podcast, we'll have to do some gaming, run a raid or something. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Have a raid night.
For sure. And you can find me Willhe1m Scream Destiny. If you search that into Google or YouTube, you should come up. And yeah, I try to do stuff at least a couple of times. I try to do 3 times a week. It's sometimes hard to do it actually on the days where information is released, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I try to do like a Monday, Wednesday, and a Zur day kind of thing, and maybe something on the weekend. But yeah, you can catch me there. Pretty straightforward, informational kind of stuff, recorded in one take. So that's sort of a short podcast.
I love it. I love it. I love that the way you do that, and it would take an editor's mind to do that too, to know how to get a clean edit without having to cut it or redo stuff. So. I really appreciate that because it's hard to do, man. It's hard to talk all in one take. It's tough for actors to even do it, let alone people trying to create content and informational content. Where I would have a problem is I would forget a term on something probably because there's so much terminology in this game, especially if you played it 11 years, and it can get crazy. But this man is almost at 100,000 subs, guys. If you have not heard of Mr. Willhe1m Scream, I'm going to put his link in our show notes down below if you're listening right now, and follow and throw him a sub. Throw him a sub because he has been. There's a lot of YouTube content creators out there that have dropped off from Destiny, and there's a lot of OGs that are still around, and he's one of those. So hit that sub button and hit the thumbs up on all his buttons so that more people can see his videos. But thank you very much, Willhe1m. I appreciate you coming on tonight, and I guess that's it, guys. That's the show. So I will say adieu, and I will see you all in the Discord. Later, Guardians. I do not want to be punching raccoons and addicts.